Calhoun Marine Sergeant, Doc Bold Knight. They're my top 3 cards in Disney Lorcana. I'm loving this game.
I mean, they're great choices.
Well,
they're very good choices.
Oh, Adam's loving Tramp. It should be a 7 cost, but with 4 characters on the board, it comes down to a 3 cost, reduced by 1 for each character you have in play. So now, all of a sudden, Tramp is a 3 cost, but then you get to draw 4 cards. And then you have to discard 4 cards from your hand. We said, you know, drawing 1, discarding 1 with Bobby Zemirski was good. How about drawing 4, discarding 4? You are properly fixing your hand here.
Absolutely. Really, really able to cater your hand. And I think we talked about this Tramp card quite a lot over the weekend so far because it is such an important card to this deck. If you don't see that Tramp early on, I think you're in a bit of trouble because he is just so important.
It's also a 7 cost, so when we look at Under the Sea being sing together, 8, Tramp and any other character can join together, sing that, get rid of all of those characters that your opponent's got that are on the weaker side. And looking at Tiago's board, that's a few of them. So you're now threatening an Under the Sea if that's what you want in the future. If nothing else, you've got a 2/6 on the board that has just fixed your hand. And here we go with the discard. Remember, those 2 costs can be brought back with one of the Lady or Miss Park Avenue. So having those 2 costs in the discard, not such a downside.
You are correct, but I think as well, you know, Tiago deciding in the previous turn to get rid of that Lady, of course, trying to avoid that shift Lady coming down. It can still be played without shifting, but it does obviously cost a bit more ink. But we see the Genie wish fulfilled down there to draw a card. Christopher Robin, the new underdog, going into the Inkwell.
He's joining in the fun. That's what he does.
Or is he, though? Because he's going in the Inkwell, so...
I mean, if you're in the Inkwell, you're still part of the team. You might not be on the front lines, but you're still in the deck. You're still on the board. You're just in the ink. You're fueling all the other cards. I think it totally counts. But look at Tiago's board here. We've got a bunch of characters. Now we are going to be questing with Olaf to go and get from 1 law up to 2. But now we've got Cheshire Cat, we've got Genie, we've got Doc, we've got Calhoun, we've got that forceful duelist Captain Hook. There is a lot of characters there. But then we look at Adam's board, 2 Daisy Duck, plus Bobby Zemirski, plus Rhino, plus Tramp. There's actually 8 law represented on Adam's board here. So he's going to be able to start really jumping up. Tiago's going to have to play a little bit of board control in the very near future because those characters at Quest for 2 are starting to build up on Adam's board.
Absolutely, but I think it's really, really tricky situation for both players here. But I think, unfortunately, I think especially for Adam, of course, having all of that potential lore on the board, but as soon as you quest with them, those characters are vulnerable, and Tiago having an absolutely fierce army there on his side of the board who could just easily wipe them all out. It's a really difficult situation, but...
It's another Daisy Duck Donald's date. 2 was, I don't think 3's enough, frankly, Jen. I want to see the 4th one come down. But here we go. We're heading under the sea. And that is going to get rid, not of everyone. Calhoun and Cheshire Cat survive. But Genie, Olaf, Captain Hook. 4 characters are getting hit by this.
Wow, that was a big, big play.
I did tell you that was coming, though, like a couple of times ago.
I know.
I want that on the record, Jen. I told you that's what Tramp was going to do.
Absolutely, yeah, you predicted it. That's the thing, I think, with you know, we saw a mirror match on the feature table yesterday of
yeah,
Amber
we
Emerald.
did.
And it's kind of, me and Joe were saying, you know, it's kind of who can get the Under the Sea first, really. But of course, yeah, that was the best case scenario. I think, like, getting that was absolutely needed for Adam there.
Well, we're going to see Cheshire Cat going after that Tramp. We can leave some damage on the board. That's going to be good for boosting up later. We see Calhoun taking out Tramp. Now, that 2-for-1 means that the banishing happened with Calhoun. That means there are 2 law being gained by virtue of Calhoun Marine Sergeant's ability there.
And notably, still 2 ink available to potentially boost our Cheshire Cat and move some of that damage over.
Well, you could get Bobby Zemirski, you could get Rhino. The big problem here is that the 4 willpower on Daisy makes her so difficult to go after. Now, here we do see the Angel going after Bobby. Now, there are 2 options. One was going after Rhino and going after Angel, which is what we're seeing. You could have done this both onto one of the Daisy and taken out a Daisy, but Tiago here choosing to go for the 2 characters rather than the 1.
I understand it. I think there's a case for both options, you know, get rid of one Daisy or get rid of two other characters. And I understand the choice because I think it has just shrunk Adam's board so significantly, even just getting rid of those two kind of seemingly smaller, kind of unassuming characters there, but still those three Daisies, that's difficult to deal with.
It is, but Adam is not actually quested yet. There's 0 law on Adam's side of the board. Those Daisy, they do have 4 willpower. That's lovely, but it's not infinite. So Tiago can start taking them out as soon as they end up exerted. So Adam here trying to find the right time to go, okay, now I can start questing with these Daisy. I know they're a bit vulnerable, but I do need to start getting some lore at some point. Now, it seems like Adam's got 2 cards in hand, has done very little, and we're already back over to Tiago here. No lore for Adam, and now Tiago needs to build his board. Strength of a Raging Fire will not take out Daisy Duck, but if you boost Cheshire Cat and move the 1 damage from Calhoun, that's gonna do it!
That's what he needed. Sometimes 1 damage counter is all you need to finish someone off. So, I think we're questing. I think we're doing a big old quest here for Tiago, jumping all the way up to 7 lore against Adam's currently only 0, which is quite unusual for an Amber Emerald deck known for questing quite furiously early on, but of course not really being able to because Tiago had built up such a oppressive board, I think.
No, absolutely, and that's the thing. That Under the Sea came through right at the right time. Tiago's board was getting a little bit out of control. Now, the good news is he's actually playing around it a little bit now. Under the Sea would not be a good play if it came down here. We're playing Lilo Escape Artist from the discard pile. That is always an option. You can just play it as if it was in your hand from the discard. And now, oh, we don't have enough ink for Tramp, I'm afraid.
That's a really, really tricky one. We haven't seen a Grandmother Willow as well. I'm quite surprised. Maybe I would be surprised if Adam is not playing any Grandmother Willow.
Oh, there's no way it's not in the deck.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, unfortunately, just hasn't seen one this game so far. But we've got that smaller Tramp coming down. I believe it's the Street Smart Dog.
Enterprising Dog.
Enterprising Dog. He's a cutie.
He is, and he does come down for 1 less if you've got a lady in play, which would be great if you had a lady in play.
If you had a lady, yeah. Unfortunately, no lady in play here. Just some ducks and a cute surfing girl.
But you do get to give a +3 strength boost to one of your characters.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, moving back over to Tiago here.
Oh,
we got the dock.
And Tiago showing off the rule in Disney Lorcana that says you can play with other languages. I want to say that's a Chinese language card, it's not Japanese. So I believe that'll be a Chinese language dock coming down. Don't see that all too often.
No.
Nice to see the worldwide appeal of Disney Lorcana. But right now, those Daisy Duck are dropping like flies. Cheshire Cat coming in, moving damage over as well as challenging. It seems like Daisy is in a little bit of peril, by which I mean there were 3 Jen. Now there's only 1.
Very much so. She's feeling a bit lonely now, I think. But the Angel Experiment 624 and our Cheshire Cat Inexplicable are incredibly powerful against a deck like Amber Emerald Dogs because they have a lot of those characters in that deck, have a smaller stat line, have lower willpower, so being able to move those 2 damages that each of those characters do can be really, really useful. Harder, of course, against Daisy with her 4 willpower. She's just so full of willpower. But we see it being done here to get rid of those Daisies.
That's why we have the downside on Daisy. From a game design standpoint, there had to be a downside. A 1 cost and quest for 2 with 4 willpower. It's uninkable and might let your opponent draw a card. There had to be some downsides. Now here's an upside for Adam. It is that Street Smart Dog Tramp coming down. Draw 2, discard 2, but again, we are trying to work through to give ourselves the perfect options of cards.
We love to see that Tramp come down. Passing back over to Tiago here. He's still got a really good board going on, still got that Angel, still got that Cheshire Cat. We know they can do a lot for him. And he's, of course, got that Christopher Robin down as well now that quests for 2 lore. We got Genie Wish Fulfilled coming down, draw a card. Gonna be able to quest for 2 lore if it can stay. Maybe not stay, though. Who knows?
It has at least drawn a card. And again, that 4 willpower on Genie is a bit of a pain. We've been seeing it on Daisy Duck all the way through. You know, look at the strength on Adam's characters. 1, 1, 2. And there's nothing like Angel, Experiment 624, Cheshire Cat, things that can throw extra damage around. So Adam is going to struggle to take out something like a Genie with what he's got on the board. Looks like we're just going to do a bunch of questing here. Tiago is up 8 lore to 0. Or at least he was before this happened. We're now going up to 13 lore to 0. Tiago absolutely in control of this. And what's Adam going to do at this point to start taking out some of Adam's glimmers? The answer is the bigger, more threatening ones. There's nothing on the board that's doing it right now.
Unfortunately not. I think you know, in this situation for Adam, it is really tricky. You can see he's really, really thinking about what can he do here? What can I do? You know, you would hope for something like a Horseman Strikes, that pesky pumpkin, but I don't, you know, Amber Emerald Dogs doesn't really play that card, I don't think, like generally.
Under the Sea is generally what they've got.
Under the Sea is the main one, yeah.
And that's not going to do enough here.
Yeah, you wouldn't even really, like, you might play a Raging Storm in this because, of course, it can be sung, but you're much less likely to Amber Emerald not known for being a
Raging Storm is an action, not a...
It is an action. I'm so sorry.
I made that mistake in the last round. That's the only reason I know, Jen.
It is an action. What one was I thinking of then? I was thinking of a different one.
You're thinking of Be Prepared, which was the precursor to Raging Storm, which was a song.
I wasn't thinking of that. I'm thinking of a different Emerald thing. Anyway, I'm getting or Amber thing. I'm getting confused. But anyway, so we've got some damage there going on to the Daisy and the Tramp.
Well, we've seen some challenging here. Essentially, we're starting to see the characters actually going after one another. The problem we have here is that there's still nothing too much there. Oh, we see the Giant Spectral Cobra coming in here. The Ghostly Cobra, Giant Spectral Serpent, and I think that might be it, Jen.
I think that's a scoop right there. Unfortunately for Adam, not much he could do in that situation. Wow, so Tiago takes our game 1 of this round on our feature table. I mean, if you were Adam in that situation with your Amber Emerald and you're looking at this mighty board across from you, what would you be thinking?
I would be thinking, I wish my deck had answers to this. and I'm sorry, but that's a genuine answer. We were looking at the board a minute ago. You've got a bunch of characters that just do not have the strength to take out the characters on Tiago's side of the board. Generally speaking, in Dogs, we're not giving away the whole deck list. We'll not open deck list till tomorrow. But generally speaking, you're playing Under the Sea, which is great for going after 2-strength characters. Things like Genie, things like Doc, things like Christopher Robin. But when you start seeing Cheshire Cat hit the board and some of these bigger characters, Angel Experiment 624, you just don't have ways to get rid of them. Essentially, what you need to do is get a wide board and get established so that when this starts happening, you can start challenging 2 for 1 or just racing for lore to get away from it. That's your out. When you end up with you're behind on lore, all your characters are lower strength, and your opponent's got a bigger board, you can't 1 for 1. You don't really have enough characters on the board to start trying to pull out some 2 for 1s, and you don't have those action and song cards which can go and save you. There's no World's Greatest Criminal Mind, there's no Horseman Strikes or any of that. You're stuck with Under the Sea, which is great in the mirror and against other aggro decks. It's great in the early game. We saw a really good one early game from Adam. Yeah. But at the point we were looking at a minute ago, it wasn't going to do the job.
Unfortunately not, you're right. It's a tricky, tricky matchup, I think. But very importantly for Adam, now in this going into this game 2, will be playing first, of course. And I think for a deck like Amber Emerald, that's very, very important and can go a long way. So, keen to see how this game goes. I wonder... I'm curious to see how much control Tiago will be able to have over Adam's board, especially with Adam going first. And I'm also keen to see if Adam will see that all-important Grandmother Willow this time.
Well, that was a big thing in game 1. We didn't see the Grandmother Willow coming down. That reduces, once per turn, reduces the cost of the next character you play by 1. That can help you get these cards in a lot earlier. It can help you get more characters on the board. You can get some bigger characters a little bit earlier. That's what Adam needs to do. Adam needs to set up a board. And look, Daisy was fine last game, but you weren't questing with them. You were waiting. So you weren't getting the lore from Daisy, but then when Tiago's board built up, wasn't enough.
Exactly. Really, really tricky situation. I've just seen that Christopher Robin come in Tiago's hand. It's going into the Inkwell, though. We're not going to play it. It could have played it, of course, with the underdog ability. If you're going second, you can play it for one less. But we've gone for a Captain Hook, which I think is a solid, solid choice.
I mean, it's got Challenger too. It's a 3-2 when you're initiating the challenge. That can be very good for taking some of these out. We got the Elegant Spaniel for Lady on the left-hand side there, which is fine. Nice little start there. You need to get a Tramp to make it quest for 2, but this is where Adam needs to start really pushing this. We're on the 2 ink turn. Do we have that Grandmother Willow? The answer is no, we don't. It's not in hand.
Unfortunately not.
That's not great.
No, I mean, we know that Tiago will be thinking as well, of course, with playing that Captain Hook as a Challenger 2, it is a huge, huge threat to Adam's board. So like we saw before, it's going to stop Adam from wanting to quest with his characters because, of course, he doesn't want Captain Hook challenging into them. So definitely the right choice for Tiago there, choosing the Captain Hook over the Christopher Robin.
But at some point, you've got to start just questing, getting that lore. Adam was held off in the first game, and it didn't help him. It came back to haunt him. Something like that Lilo needs to be questing. Keep the Lady as a shift target by all means, but you need to get lore on the board.
Oof, even more of a deterrent, though, now on Tiago's board with a Calhoun coming down. Even more unlikely that Adam is going to want to quest with those characters. Of course, our Lilo Escape Artist, when it is in the discard at the start of your next turn, you can play it from the discard, but it gets played exerted, so she's still vulnerable to a challenge. It's a really, really tricky situation, and you know, a lot of thought and decision-making needs to go in for these players to try and figure out how to navigate this. But we see a Mowgli coming down, which lets you look at your opponent's hand and discard a non-character card.
Well, your opponent discards. They are the ones that make the choice.
Yes, the opponent makes the choice. Unfortunately, we're not seeing a non-character card in Tiago's hand.
There's no
so
choice.
Nothing, no choice, nothing's going into the discard. But it did give Adam information which can be incredibly, incredibly useful.
And that's the key here. With an early game Mowgli like this, you get to see your opponent's hand, and if you're good enough, you can start mapping out their curve over the next few turns. You know that Elsa Fifth Spirit is there to come in, exert, and challenge immediately when you get up to 5 ink. You know your opponent's got these options, so you can work around that. We do see the Giant Cobra getting inked. Here comes Lexington. The alert's not that relevant in this matchup, but at least you got a 4/4 body on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Great stat line there with Lexington. And of course, we know Lexington has alert, which means that he can challenge evasive characters. But as you say, not particularly useful in this matchup. And I was just thinking, I wonder if Adam is playing Emerald Chromacons, because I think an Emerald Chromacon here would go a long way, because of course, if Tiago then is trying to deal with Adam's board, get rid of those characters, if one of Adam's characters is banished, he can then return one of the opposing characters to hand. So I think an Emerald Chromacon would really help Adam kind of figure out his own way of controlling. But I don't know if he plays them or not. We haven't seen one.
We haven't seen one, and it's one you don't see that often in dogs. I think it's most likely he's not playing it. Certainly it could have come in absolutely huge last game, but I would wager that Adam probably isn't playing it in this deck, so he's going to have to do what he can. And once again, you're flooding the board with characters. This is very nice, but they're not big. They're not great for challenging. So essentially, you've got a bunch of characters out here that are just waiting to be picked off by anything Tiago wants to do. We got Calhoun that's going to gain 2 lore when it went to challenge, so which means anything with 3 strength or less, you really don't want to have exerted for fear that Calhoun will not only get rid of it, but also go and grab 2. Now, we do lore. We do see the Tramp comes down. It is a free cost, reduced by 4 because 4 characters on board. Draw 4, discard 4. You can now be pretty sure he hasn't got many cards in hand, right? He's only got a couple.
No,
but they're going to be good.
I reckon so. I think he had there was an Under the Sea there, but did you see which card that he took from the Tramp? I'm not sure.
I cannot tell you which 2 cards are in hand. He's keeping them close to his chest, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
We did see Angel taking out the Elegant Spaniel, the lady using that skill, and now it seems like we're back over to Adam. Now, I know we top dead to go Tomago there. There is, I can't quite see.
I think it's a Mickey Mouse. Yes,
Oh,
it's the Mickey
Amber
Mouse.
Champion.
It's the Amber Champion, which I think is going to do a huge amount for Adam here because, of course, your other Amber characters get +2 willpower. And while you have 2 or more other Amber characters in play, he gains Singer 8. So he would immediately be able to sing an Under the Sea by himself. But that +2 willpower, I think, could go a long way. Unfortunately, we've seen the Elsa Fifth Spirit come down, exerting the Mickey Mouse as soon as he's in, and he's being taken out immediately. That is not what Adam wanted to see.
The double challenge there is what did it, and it was taken out with Calhoun, which goes against a couple of law at the same time. Lexington, we said about the 4-4 body being big. That did the majority of the work, brought Mickey Mouse down to the point where then Calhoun should just come and finish off. You gain a couple law, but you also take it out. Worth noting, Mickey only boosts the willpower of your other Amber characters, not Mickey Mouse Amber Champion. So that meant that the 5 willpower had to go. And you look at the reaction of Tiago to that card coming down. Tiago was pretty clear there. I am not leaving this on the board. That is a priority for me. No, you're not having your Mickey.
No way will I let you keep that there and have that buff for your other characters. But we see that Della's Moon Lullaby coming down. Chosen Angel for the -1 strength, -2 strength?
-2.
-2, that's what it is. Yeah. So really, really not okay. Adam is probably quite frustrated about that situation, but we're singing an Under the Sea, which is going to get rid of so many of Tiago's characters going to the discard. Under the deck. He has put them in the discard, but they're now going under the sea, under the deck.
And
there we go.
There's a very important point that needs to be made here. Delamoon's Lullaby lowered the strength of Angel. That's why Angel got caught by Under the Sea. 4 characters got caught. One of them only got caught because of that Delamoon's Lullaby. So it's not just the Under the Sea. It was that combination of cards that was so huge there. Tramp having a 7 cost to sing with. You only need one other character. Under the Sea comes down, and then you're left with just that Lexington. We couldn't get them all. We couldn't get the full board wipe, but leaving with just Lexington, and this is the point at which Adam needs to start making this comeback.
We've done a really great job, and you're right about Della's Moon Lullaby and Under the Sea, of course, really coming in clutch here for that combo, but he did a really, really good job there of trying to clear Tiago's board as much as possible. We see the Lexington going into the Tramp there, I think it was, both doing a little trade there, both going to the discard, and the Elsa is down there on Tiago's board. But yeah, it's oh, another Tramp. He had another Tramp, so that Tramp has come down. He's going to be drawing 3 cards, have a look at them, and then discard 3 cards. So he's only got 4 currently, so he will only be left with 1 card in hand, but he can really, really decide what he wants, what's going to be the best card to have in hand in this situation. We do see that Grandmother Willow there. So he does have them, he just hasn't seen them.
And unfortunately, we're not necessarily at the right point in the game here. We are going to see just questing out going up from 3 to 7 lore. Adam here with the Mowgli, the Bobby Zamirsky, and the Lilo Escape Artist. And yeah, you got 1 card in hand, but it's your best one out of 4. That is very different to a regular 1 card in hand.
Agreed. We have Genie Wish Fulfill coming down there. Draw the card for Tiago and play a Captain Hook Forceful Duelist. Again, as we said earlier, just a threat for Adam. Doesn't want that Forceful Duelist to come in and challenge any of his characters.
Well, it's here. You got no options. Now, we do get Lilo Escape Artist coming from the discard. Remember, that can be played over and over again. It can always be played from the discard. It's like having an extra card in hand, and this is why 1 Grandmother Willow was discarded a moment ago. There is another one available. And oh, yeah, we've got a lady just for good measure, but we're not shifting. We're playing it normally.
Want to get as many characters on board as possible, and I think Adam's done a really, really good job here. And as well, I think with Lilo, yes, when you play her from the discard, she does come in exerted, so she's vulnerable, but it's another thing that your opponent has to deal with, because if your opponent doesn't get rid of that Lilo, then she's going to be there all ready to quest on their next turn. So it's another thing that the opponent has to deal with. many things that Tiago is going to have to try and deal with here.
It's generally a good idea. The one time you can't is when there's a Calhoun on board, because Calhoun will not only banish, but also gain 2 lore from the ability by having done so. So you can't really do this if your opponent's got a Calhoun.
No.
Outside, if you've got the ink spare, it's something to do every turn, because best case scenario, you keep it and get to quest. Worst case scenario, you force your opponent to expend some resources in order to actually get rid of it. Just not like we see here. That could have been a quest or a challenge into something else. Instead, it was taking out Lilo, just not when Calhoun's on the board.
Exactly, you are correct there. So we see some challenging here, trying to clear Adam's board. Tiago has built his board back up very nicely there, and he's got 3 of them are evasive.
Speaking of which.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there she is, Lilo coming back into play. But yeah, Tiago with 3 evasives on board is not great for Adam right now. But we see that Under the Sea again being sung by Tramp, which is going to clear the entirety of Tiago's board. Wow.
And it seems like that might be it,
yes,
Jen.
I think that's it. Wow, okay. That's it. Game 2 ended there. It went to Adam, I believe, there, because that board wipe was just perfect for him, I think, in that moment. Completely destroyed Tiago's board, and there wasn't really much he could do at that point. Both on very either no or very few cards in hand. It's a really tricky situation, but it went to Adam there, so we're on 1-1 now.
And that was a big difference in Game 1 and Game 2. In Game 1, you had an early Under the Sea, but then a bunch of other characters came down. Tiago had enough ink and enough cards in hand to re-establish a board, and he re-established a board that was essentially Under the Sea proof.
Yeah.
Whereas in that second game, when Adam played the Under the Sea, he got... I don't think he quite got everything. I think he got everything except maybe the outside. Something I think
he got most of them.
It doesn't matter. He got enough that Tiago went, I don't have enough cards in hand, and I'm looking at your board. You can now just start questing out turn after turn after turn. And while you're doing that, I'm rebuilding my board. This isn't going to work. So let's go over to a Game 3. But Tiago is going first in Game 3. They get the choice of first or second, was what I meant to say. Yeah. And that is a huge advantage.
Yeah. Definitely. So really tricky for Adam, I think. Not being able to go first now in this turn, but in this game, sorry. But maybe he'll see that Grandmother Willow, though, which I think will do a lot for him, especially going second, because, of course, will allow him to get more characters out for less. And build the board.
He's kept 4 cards. I don't believe one of them is a Grandmother Willow. I believe they were all inkable cards, and Grandmother Willow is not inkable. So hopefully one of these free cards from the Ultra in the card phase has gone and given access to basically the one card he really wants early right now.
I'm wondering how many Grandmother Willows he's playing in this deck, because we're just not seeing them. We've seen it like once, maybe twice, and we're in the 3rd game now. I'm just really surprised, because it feels like such a staple Amber card now, this new Grandmother Willow.
I'm not going to tell you what the deck list says. I can't look at the deck list. I'm not giving anything away.
Okay.
It's 4.
Oh.
It's always 4, Jen.
Yeah.
It's such a good card. It's such a staple. I could be wrong, I suppose. I'm not looking at the deck list. I don't need to look at the deck list. It's 4. It's obviously 4.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't 4, but I'm really surprised that we aren't seeing it more, especially if he does have 4. Like, where is it? He must be so frustrated. Where is she? Where are you, Grandmother?
Well, we are off here in Game 3. We are 1 game apiece right now, and it's Captain Hook, Forceful Duelist for Tiago. Adam's going to his first turn. Adam did win Game 2, right?
I believe so, yeah, because we're 1-1. I think it's just not updated on the top, but that's okay.
We'll update that on the screen in a minute, but I assure you we are 1 game apiece. Adam won Game 2, Tiago won Game 1. It's my friend, it's Daisy.
Yeah, you love her so much. She's great. But Daisy against the Captain Hook is not great. She doesn't want it. She doesn't want that Captain Hook coming near her. But yeah, it's. I still don't see a Grandmother Willow in that hand. Do you?
No, unfortunately, don't want to be rude.
Gosh.
I think we're going to miss it again. And again, I'm not giving away the deck list. We're not open deck list. I promise you, I'm not cheating here. I would be stunned if there weren't 4. There's always 4. There's an Olaf for Tiago, but where are these Grandmother Willow? We're 3 games in, and I don't think we've seen one on turn 2 yet. That's Delamu's Lullaby. That's not... Oh, wait, maybe it is there.
I think it might be.
Right in the middle of the hand.
It's hard to tell, but I think it might be there. We'll see in just a moment, because I'm sure if he does have one, I think it would be the smartest second turn play to do, of course. But that Olaf Helping Hand, I really good card, can be utilized so well in many ways with being able to bounce a character back to your hand.
It is there, Jen.
And there
we go.
There she is. Where were you? Grandmother, where were you? But you're here now, it's fine, you're here.
And then we get to play Lady, but now Lady is just a 1-cost card, that Decisive Dog. Very different to playing it as a... Oh, wait, no, it was a free card. It didn't even pay for it, I believe.
No, I believe that is the 1-drop one. I must admit, I get that my ladies and my tramps all a little bit confused.
That's Decisive Dog.
It is. It's Decisive Dog. It is a 1-drop.
Yes.
So played it for free, which is very nice.
And this is a difference it makes. You play Grandmother Willow for 2 ink, and then you can play a 1-cost character for free. Now you've got 3 characters out where you should only have 2. Now you go into your free ink turn, but you can play a 4-ink character rather than the usual free-ink character, and then you can start building up into something like a tramp on, you know, 3 or 4 ink in a way that you just can't in other matchups. Well, the tramp's not on the board yet. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, the Grandmother Willow reduces it. So, yes, Tramp goes down to a 4-cost. Grandmother Willow makes it a 3-cost. You've got free ink. A said 3-cost Tramp is on the board, or potentially in these matchups. And it is here now, Jen. Yep. It's so good. Draw free. Discard free.
I know. So, really going to try and figure out the best hand to have here. Decide. You have to... These decisions can be make it or break it kind of choices, you know, because if you need to make sure that you are catering your hand as best as possible for the current situation and also the potential situation you might find yourself in next turn after, etc.
Absolutely right. Back over to Tiago then, and I'm kind of liking Adam's board a lot more than I did in previous games. Daisy, Grandmother Willow, Lady, and Tramp, but an angel from Tiago, and oh...
Bye, Grandmother Willow.
That's a bit sad.
It was brief, but we had a nice time with you.
You got your ink back, you paid 2, and you got a reduction of 2.
Yeah.
But crucially, it let you get the Tramp. You don't get the Tramp on turn 3 without Grandmother Willow. That alone was worth the investment.
I agree, but I also think, yeah, discarding the Genie to turn it into a snowball and cause those 2 damage to get rid of that Grandmother Willow.
Hang on.
Absolutely understandable.
Oh, I know what's coming here, Jen. We've seen Delamu's Lullaby. That has reduced the power or the strength on Cheshire Cat. Bobby Zemirski goes into the ink, and it's going to be another Delamu's Lullaby to Angel, and this means that an Under the Sea is going to completely clear the board. I mean, surely, there it is, Under the Sea. Tramp sings it along with Daisy, and that gets everything double. Delamu's Lullaby here to bring the 3 strength down to 2 strength to get a proper board wipe. This is how Adam wins this matchup.
Definitely imagine it. Looking at your hand, you've got 2 Delamu's Lullabies, and you've got an Under the Sea. You've got the perfect combination of cards
Be rude not to.
to completely clear their board. Absolutely fantastic turn from Adam there. We're seeing a Hades looking for a deal, coming down on Tiago's board, choosing the Tramp. Are we going to put it at the bottom of the deck, or are we going to let Tiago draw 2 cards? Hades doesn't offer good deals. Either is not great, but you have to choose one.
I think you give your opponent the cards. I don't think it's an easy decision. I give my opponent the cards in this situation. Tramp threatens an Under the Sea on future turns if it's going to be relevant, but also it quests for 2. It's got 6 willpower. I think you have to keep Tramp. Adam clearly didn't want to. You can see by the body language he didn't want to, but I think you have to give your opponent the cards there.
I agree. I think I would have done the same thing, and that's exactly what he did, and it's very understandable. So we're seeing that Mickey Mouse Amber champion.
But it's so different to last game,
It
Jen.
is.
Because last game, Tiago went, oh, I am not dealing with that. And he had Elsa, 5th Spirit, and Lexington, small in stature, combined to take it out. That's not where we are right now. There is nothing It's got 5 willpower, and you've got a Hades that can challenge for free. Brilliant. Not enough. Now, if you've got an Elsa 5th Spirit next turn, you could combine the 2 of them to take it out. That is the only way you're really getting it, unless, I mean, something like an Angel Experiment 624 would do it potentially, but you need something that can deal damage now, or else that Mickey Mouse Amber Champion is sticking around for a bit.
You're correct. So, Tiago, I think the best option is going to be an Elsa 5th Spirit because, of course, being able to exert the Mickey Mouse and then put 2 damage in, finish off with the Hades for another 3 damage. But does he have an Elsa 5th Spirit? We're going to see.
Well, we're eyeing it up. We do have 5 ink, so we've got enough to pay for it if we want to pay for it.
I'm not sure.
Ink Demona, so now we've got 6 ink.
Oh, we're playing a Demona. Okay, Ink a Demona, play a Demona. So exerting all those characters. So he has exerted the Mickey Mouse. So it's available for challenging. But unless he can somehow get a further 2 damage, Hades can only do 3 into that Mickey Mouse if that's what he's wanting to get rid of.
The option here is essentially you challenge with Hades now, you take the damage back, and you hope for a Cheshire Cat Inexplicable next turn.
Exactly.
And that would allow you to essentially boost under the Cheshire Cat, move 2 of the damage from Hades over to Mickey Mouse, and then you can take out Mickey Mouse without having to use a challenge or a quest next turn.
That's precisely what Tiago will be wanting, I think. But we're going back into Adam's turn now. He's still got a decent board. He's still got his Mickey. He's still got his Tramp. And, of course, most importantly, that Mickey is boosting the other Amber characters, which is all 3 of them, to have 2 extra willpower. Another Grandmother Willow. He's seen them all now. Where's she been the last 2 games? And now she's here all of a sudden.
She's trying to make up for it. Tiago looked in such a good position back in game 1. Yeah, she's back again. It's Daisy. And now, oh, and there's one more. Oh,
Daisy.
It's another Daisy. Treble Daisy. Can we get up to 4? That would make me very, very happy.
It would. You're half happy right now. If we can get 2 more, you'll be 100% happy, I think.
And we are just moving the dice. I think it should be 3 damage on the Mickey Mouse, should it not? Because Hades dealt 3 damage in the challenge.
Yes, I think that was a mistake on the dice. But yes, it should be 3 damage on the Mickey Mouse currently.
But then presumably 2 on the Hades, because Mickey does 2 damage?
Yes, you're correct. It should only be 2 on the Hades.
Unless I'm missing something. I think it should be 3 on the Mickey, 2 on the Hades.
I believe you're correct.
I don't see what the other... unless Hades was challenged by something else, but I don't believe it was.
Don't believe it was either.
No, because there's nothing in the discard. There's no damage on the board to say that a challenge has been done. There's nothing after Under the Sea. So I think that Hades should have 2 damage on, if I'm correct.
Yes, I think I may have just seen a lore guide going over there. I think we're having a lore guide check things out here just to make sure that everything is okay. So while they're doing that, let's chat.
I'm loving dogs, Jen. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going well. Game 1 was like a worst-case scenario. Game 1 basically just highlighted the difficulty with this and the challenges it faces. But it does look like we are back in the game now. We have corrected the damage on the characters. And it's 2 on Hades, 3 on Mickey Mouse. So now we can get back into the game. But since Game 1... Adam has been showing the strength of dogs. Last game with that Under the Sea coming down absolutely crucially and going wide. There's 7 glimmers on the board for Adam, and there's 2 for Tiago. And now Adam's going, I can quest because, yes, I know you can challenge and take some of my glimmers out. You can't take them all out. I've literally got too many.
Yeah, exactly. Shooting up all the way to 11 lore there with that questing. And as we said before, still got that Mickey Mouse Amber Champion on board. So all those other Amber characters have a boosted willpower. So currently, those 2 Daisy Ducks, your favorite, are 1-6 stat lines.
2 Daisy Ducks? Look again, Jen.
3 Daisy Ducks.
3 Daisy Ducks are all there at 6 willpower.
I was so distracted by everything else. I hadn't even seen that one there as well.
Yeah, 2 came down in quick succession during the previous turn. I'm assuming there's 1 still in the deck. I don't think anyone would be silly enough to only play 3.
Oh, no. So Genie Wish Fulfill coming down there. Get that draw. Get that evasive on the board that's hard for Adam to deal with.
And it is hard to deal with, but right now, Adam's not having to deal with stuff. Tiago is the person under pressure. They are having to deal with stuff. Adam has got 11 lore on the board and does actually, to be clear, does have game on board next turn.
Yes.
There's 11 lore represented among the characters on Adam's board. Only needs 9. Tiago has to take 2 lore pips off the board just to survive into next turn. But that is not going to get him over there. He's down by 9 lore, and Tiago's counting up. I hate to break it to you, Tiago. I've done the count. We got 4 2-drop characters, or 2 pip characters. That is the Tramp and the Free Daisy. That's 8. Plus Lady, Mickey, and Grandmother Willow. 1 more each. That's 11. So
we're doing the maths.
You've got to take 3 pips off the board.
And there's the handshake. We are done. Wow. That was a really tricky situation for Tiago. Clearly realized there was not much he could do in that situation, and Adam takes the win. 2-1 to Adam. Very well played by both players, though. What an incredible round. It was really, really interesting. Every single match was so different.
And that's the thing. We kind of saw the three modes of dogs. In game 1, we saw oh, my characters are actually quite small and my Under the Sea didn't stick, and I do not have the mid to late game to deal with a lot of these kind of mid-range decks. I lose. Game 2, we saw the Under the Sea, I win mode of dogs, which, I mean, you saw on stream with Super Joe yesterday. That is a powerful mode. And game 3, we saw the more traditional aggro mode of all I need to really do here is just go wide characters. Now, it was combined with the Under the Sea and the double Delamoon's Lullaby, which was phenomenal for taking out the entire board. But it's just, I've gone wide enough, you can't win. But I think we've seen over those 3 games how crucial Under the Sea is, how great dogs can be, but also how vulnerable it can be. This is why some players stay away from the deck. It has those games where you just feel completely outmatched. Because let's remember, game 1 was not even close. Adam did very little, and that game, I mean, dogs just got trounced in game 1.
Yeah, it's part of why I struggle to play a deck like that, because I feel... in those moments, I feel so helpless, and there's not a feeling I like. So, you know, dogs is for some people, not for me. But I believe we have our second feature match that we can jump over to and see where they are at. Here we have them. So, I don't know what these 2 are playing. We've definitely got some Emerald there. We've got Jade and Jeremy here. Yes, so we've got Amethyst, Emerald, and Emerald Sapphire. Okay, Amethyst, Emerald, nice.
Do you not recognize the player on the left here, Jen?
Oh my gosh, no, it is. I wasn't sure if it was her. We met her yesterday, didn't we?
She came to our meet and greet in the hall yesterday. We had a lovely chat with her. Very lovely person.
Of course. I was like, I feel like I recognize that face. Why do I recognize that face? It's because we had a lovely, lovely chat with Jade yesterday, as you say, at our meet and greet. So that's really nice. I'm excited to see. She did mention that she was, to us, I think that she was playing Amethyst Emerald. So I'm really, really keen to see what her deck can do. She's clearly doing pretty well, so yay, Jade, go for it. But yeah, I'm really excited. There's the fist bump, so we're going in. Let's go in here.
Oh no, we are already going. It's Pegasus Gift for Hercules. We're rolling. Jeremy on the right, Jade on the left. You're welcome.
So we've got Jeremy has won that first match. We're going into our second match here. And we'll see, and of course that means that Jade has been able to go first. So she's got that Pegasus, and she's got a Flynn Rider Whisper there, I think that is.
The Spectral Scoundrel.
Yeah, and another Pegasus on a board, of course, an evasive character.
Flynn Rider basically has 2 modes. There's the unboosted 1/2 quest for 1, or you can pay 2 to boost it essentially into a free cost, and it becomes a free 2 quest for 2.
Exactly. I think a really, really fun. I mean, we saw a lot of boost this morning. Those that were with us on the stream this morning, me and Joe had a really fun time watching a crazy, crazy boost-themed deck, which was really, really good fun. So I love seeing a boost character.
Well, it does look like we've got a card we do not see very often here at all. Is that Webby Vanderquist?
No, it's Emily Quackfaster, I believe. It is
Emily Quackfaster, level-headed librarian. You're absolutely correct.
Nice, and we've got that all-important Diablo down on board, which when it is banished, you can draw a card. However, we can see on Jeremy's board, we've got that Clarabelle. We've got that Prince Phillip. We know that these characters have fearsome shift characters that can pop down onto them. So,
oh, Vanquisher of foes, Prince Phillip, he big.
So Jade, I think, will be aware of that. She'll be very wary of it because we don't want to see that Malicious, Mean and Scary Prince Phillip combo happening.
Jade is going aggressive with the questing here. We got Webby Vanderquack coming down, boosting the strength of Diablo up to 1. But that Emily Quackfaster, you may have missed it, it happened faster. But we did see the boost coming down. Essentially, it lets you boost one of your characters when you play. So we boosted the Flynn Rider. Jade is already on 13 lore, and Jeremy's got a Clarabelle and a Prince Phillip down. I think we're seeing why we've gone here. Oh!
There it is. There's the Malicious, Mean and Scary. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Jade's characters aren't very strong. There's a lot of one willpower characters, and Jeremy went, hang on a second. I know what to do about these. Malicious, Mean and Scary came down. And there's another one that's going to take everything out. Flynn Rider, Spectral Scoundrel, the only thing not boosted by that boost is unfortunately the willpower. Who needs Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of foes, when you can just double Malicious, Mean and Scary?
Yeah, wow, I was not expecting 2 of them. I mean, one of them did so much already, getting rid of like half of Jade's board, but there's we see the Louis coming down, which when it is played, you can make an opposing character have Reckless on the next turn, and she chose the Prince Phillip.
Yeah, that was an endearing alligator. We are looking for the shift. Now, we do have Prince Phillip is going to be challenging into Louis. And I believe they will just take each other out. Louis does 4 to Prince Phillip. Prince Phillip does 3 to Louis.
I was just going to say that Prince Phillip has ward, so it cannot be chosen. That was just a mistake there, and it's been caught by a lore guide.
Good shout.
I was just double checking that because I was like, I think that Prince Phillip has ward. So we've had to choose the Clarabelle for the Reckless from Louis instead, because yes, can't choose the Prince Phillip because it does have ward.
That Royal Explorer, it just means it stays on the board a little bit longer, gets you towards Vanquisher of foes. The combo is essentially that you shift up into Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of foes, and then you banish all of your opponent's characters that have any damage on. Hence the combo with Malicious, Mean and Scary. You put damage on all of them, and then you go. Didn't even need that with a double Malicious, Mean and Scary. So Louis is giving Reckless to Clarabelle here, and that leaves Prince Phillip free to do whatever he feels like, frankly.
Yeah, but not great even to have the Reckless on the Clarabelle, because Jeremy's not going to want to see that Clarabelle go, but of course if it does have to challenge into Louis, it will be banished. But he's choosing to challenge with the Prince Phillip instead, which means that Clarabelle cannot challenge, so the Reckless doesn't happen.
But at least cannot quest. That is the one thing you did there was you stopped. So it did make a bit of a difference rather than just giving the Reckless to Prince Phillip.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we just had a little bit of a blip there with the ward mistake, but lore guides are on it, so we're all good. But we see that Cinderella dream come true come down on Jeremy's board, which very importantly, she is a princess, so she does trigger her own ability that at the end of your turn, if you played a princess that turn, you can put a card from your hand into the inkwell to draw a card.
Well, we see Emerald Chromacon. We've seen this already. It was big in the game I watched with Kim in the previous round. When one of your characters gets banished, you get to bump a card to hand, and it does not have to be your own. But speaking of Emerald characters to give Reckless, it's John Silver, Alien Pirate.
Ooh, I love this card. He's fearsome. Of course, being able to give a character Reckless when he's played is incredibly strong, but
apparently Jade wasn't content with the Emerald Chromacon.
No.
She's also got the Amethyst Chromacon as well.
Oh
She's
my
completed the
gosh.
set. I hope she gets a prize for that.
Yeah, and she's also got that Flynn Rider has come back down.
Yeah, that Spectral Scoundrel is there, unboosted as it stands at the moment. Now, Reckless has been given to it by John Silver, Alien Pirate here. And Jade, she had this fantastic start, this absolutely streaming start. She needs to start getting some more lore on the board, or Jeremy is going to be catching up. Ever since that double Malicious, mean and scary, she has not rebuilt her board.
No, it's a tricky situation. She went race, 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 race. I'm all the way up to 13 lore now. I've got a huge board. But then, of course, Jeremy being able to deal with that board entirely within one turn with those two Malicious, mean and scaries puts Jade in a really tricky position here. And Jeremy with quite a good board here. We might see a shift Clarabelle. He's got two of those smaller Clarabelles on board. We may see the shift. Who knows?
Well, right now we're going to see Amethyst Chromacon being used to draw both players a card. Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom is in hand. That can just get you lore. It's not going to get you over the line, but it's going to get you closer to the line. What I like to call a cheeky lore card. Gaining lore in a way other than just questing.
Exactly. And we're seeing a Louis go into the Inkwell there. We're going to boost the Flynn Rider and take out that Cinderella. You can't have any more low ink and draw cards, okay, Jeremy? No more.
It's fair, honestly. That Cinderella dream come true is just an absolute nightmare to deal with. Because not only does it let you ink, it replaces the card. So you don't just get extra ink, you get to see an extra card. And it's so good for getting towards those things in your deck you want. Now, Jeremy is questing out here. That's going to be 4 lore. That John Silver... worth noting, it is 2 lore when you quest for that John Silver. There's 2 of them on the board. Jeremy is already pretty much caught up. He is, it's 2 turns away from winning the game now. And
also, of course, that John Silver quest for 2, as you say, has a big, big stat line of 5/5. But also, when he quests, you can do his ability again by to give a chosen opposing character Reckless. Of course, no characters on board for him to choose currently, but very, very, very strong card.
Now, it's a lot to ask. I know this before I say it.
Okay.
But if Jade could draw into her other 3 Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom and play all 4 of them, that would get her over the line. I don't think it's likely.
Well, she played one very early on. So we know,
did she?
Yeah, she played one right at the start.
That's not going to work
So we know one of them is already gone.
Boo. Never mind, I tried.
Yeah, but
because it's not looking good for Jade right now.
No, it's really, really not. It's really not. But we see that Show Me More coming down. So each player draws 3 cards, which, of course, you don't really want your opponent to draw 3 cards. But when you're in a tricky situation like this, it's nice for Jade, of course, to be able to draw those cards and see what she can get, see how she might be able to deal with the current situation.
It's a double-sided Finders Keepers, but rather than being a 5 cost, it's a 2 cost. That is a lot better. Now, we do get that Ink Caster coming down here. And if you've played card, that does let you then go and just get lore, cheeky lore, as I like to call it. This is an option here, the enigmatic Ink Caster. As long as you've played 2 or more cards, you just get to gain a lore. I don't know if that's going to get her too close to the end there. Cheeky lore is good, but she's going to need something else.
Yeah, might not be cheeky enough, but we're questing with that John Silver, making the Bobby Reckless. Not a huge stat line for him, so if he does have to challenge, he's not going to last very long.
It's not going to go great.
Jeremy shooting up to 14 lore, so both players on 14 lore now, but a very, very significantly different looking boards here.
And that's the problem. Jay jumped up early and then had her board wiped. Jeremy has done this in a far more methodical manner. We now get Clarabelle light on her hooves coming down, that shift target finally coming out, and now Jeremy has got, oh, you're welcome, gets rid of the enigmatic Ink Caster.
Oh, wow, of course, because You're Welcome doesn't have to target a character. It can also target items.
Or locations.
Or locations, yeah, of course. And then that player draws 2 cards.
It's great removal for pretty much anything.
And of course, now that he's got the Clarabelle light on her hooves on board, and Jade has a larger hand because he played the You're Welcome and she drew extra cards, that means that he's going to be able to draw cards because of Clarabelle's ability. So he really, that was a really, really nice play. Get the Clarabelle down, do the You're Welcome, draw some more cards. I'm in a great position here.
And Jeremy can just quest here. He's not going to get over the line this turn. He's going to go up to 15 lore. He's got 7 lore represented on the board. But more importantly, There's just nothing that Jade can do to challenge to take out any of these characters. It is very much a cheeky lore kind of deck. You're trying to go aggro in the early game and then get over the line with stuff like the enigmatic Inkcaster, like things like gathering knowledge and wisdom. Early game, lots of questing, get over the line with those cheeky lore cards. And right now, Jade is not close enough to the line. What she's not playing here is just a whole bunch of removal, I would imagine anyway. And that means that Jeremy is probably going to win. As soon as you go over to his next turn, he can quest and take the game.
Of course, but you've got to take your time. We can see Jade thinking it through. Is there anything she can do here? You don't want to give up until you're 100% sure. You don't have to concede. Play the game out. There's no pressure. They still got time. And so you really, really need to think about it, because there is a lot on the line for these players this weekend. So much amazing prizes available for all of our players this weekend, but we see that Show Me More coming down, so both players getting to draw 3 cards. She's really, really trying to search here.
Well, one Hypnotic Strength would put Bobby Zamirski up to a free, challenging for free. That's not going to do it. If she could find another Hypnotic Strength, if she's got the ink available...
She was shaking her head there.
...would potentially get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she puts 1 to the front. And here we go, but that's not going to be enough to actually take out anything. That's free strength here. You needed to get up to 5 to take out one of the John Silver, because unfortunately that still leaves 6 lore on the board. So we're playing.
She's going for it. She's searching. She's really, really trying to figure it out. Can she do it? She was shaking her head a moment ago. She's shaking her head again. She's got a smile. But that's what we like to see, both players smiling. And I think that's it. I think she's past turn, and Jeremy is going to quest and go up to 20 lore, taking this round. He's got 2 games under his belt there, 2-0 to Jeremy. Well done to both players, though, both Jade and Jeremy playing very, very well there. Really fun decks, but Jeremy took it in the end, and it was very, very well played from him.
I mean, basically what we saw there is why playing aggro deck stresses me out, despite the fact I keep choosing to play them. Jade had an absolutely blistering start there in game 2, but when you're playing these aggro decks, you've got to get closer to the line. In your early games, when you're playing down the characters and you're questing out, you want to get up to like 16. 16 is generally what you're aiming for. You got things like, I would imagine, we did actually see it going into the ink. There's a White Rose Jewel of the Garden. When you play it, you gain a lore. Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom. When you play it, you gain 2 lore. Enigmatic Inkcaster. If you played 2 cards, you can exert it to gain a lore. And you want to use cards like that to get you the last 4 to 6 lore, of the 6 is on the higher end. You've got to go aggressive questing in the early game, and then those other cards get you over the line. When you end up on like 12, 13 lore, your opponent establishes, they wipe your board, which generally happens when you're playing aggro, because even if they don't play things like Malicious, Mean and Scary, they've still got those larger characters that can trade very favorably with yours. And if you're on 12, 13 lore at that point, it's really, really hard. You have to draw all of your cheeky lore cards at the exact right time, or you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's why we see things like the Gathering Wisdom and Knowledge, like at Go-Go Tamago, for example, if you're playing Emerald. They'll come down a bit later, a Giant Cobra, even if you're playing Amethyst Steel. So, yeah, you're completely right. But I think we have an interview that we're about to see with the winner of our previous feature match, the first feature match for this round. So we're going to throw back over to the lounge so you can hear them chat.
Well, I am joined by the winner from that match, Adam. Adam, how are you feeling after that victory?
I'm feeling incredible and very lucky. It was such a hard game. I'm really, really happy that I could win this.
Yep, so you're up against Amethyst Steel. How do you feel about that matchup? I'm sure it's one that you've practiced a lot of.
I've practiced this yesterday evening with my teammates, and I nearly lost every game. So I thought with this matchup I'm thinking of a lose. So I'm very, very happy that this didn't happen.
Well, sometimes the best practice is actually losing, isn't it? And you sort of work out what you did wrong. And do you think that last minute practice was the key to your success today?
Yes, I do think. I knew the lines. Purple Steel I knew all my key cards. I just need to draw them, and I was in game 2. It was very, very, very lucky because I had the Lullaby of Della's.
Yeah, Delamoon's Lullaby.
Yeah, and I top decked it twice, and that was the only chance for me to get back into the game.
Awesome. So obviously you're now 3-0 here in Ghent, Belgium, but you're from Germany. Whereabouts in Germany are you from, and what's the local community like there?
Oh, we have a really big community in the whole Ruhrgebiet. We have so many teams, so many nice people.
For those that aren't familiar, what kind of region of Germany is that?
It's Dortmund, Cologne,
Essen,
Bochum,
Bochum.
Essen,
Yeah.
and we have so many Lorcaner players, so many stores, and such a nice community. Hallo an alle.
Yeah, awesome. So is there anybody else you wanted to give a shout out to?
My wife, and my kids. I love you.
Oh, that's amazing. Super stuff. How long have you been playing Disney Lorcaner trading card game for?
Since set 1, I was at the in Essen at the
Yep.
Spiel, and I had my first booster packs. I bought them there, and first set I only played with one friend, and from set 2 I started to play at a local game store.
Amazing. My last question for you, but it's the most important one.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite card in Disney Lorcaner TCG? It doesn't have to be in your deck. I
Yes.
imagine Under the Sea might be your favorite card in the deck.
Okay,
But-
okay. People will hate me. Diablo.
Okay. the 3-cost legendary, the
Oh
Flood
yes,
one.
oh yes, I miss him so much.
I don't miss him.
I know,
must
I know.
admit. No, but thanks so much. Congratulations. We're going to let you go off to your next round. The very best of luck. We're going to be back very soon with more Disney Lorcaner trading card game action.
Thanks, Joe. What a great chat with a lovely and very, very strong player there. That was a really, really fun feature match that we saw with that player before.
And look, I chose Dogs as my pick for the weekend.
Yeah.
They're a very good Dogs player, sitting, I believe, at 3-0, 4-0 right now.
Yeah,
This
I
is
think
round
so.
4. Yeah, so 4-0, 3-0. 3-0.
I'm lost.
It's 3-0. Sitting at 3-0 with Dogs right now, that makes me a very happy boy. If all the Dogs players could keep winning, because I'm sure when we look at my fantasy draft in a minute, I'm sure it's going to be going just like yesterday. But if Dogs wins, I get to swan around like I was right anyway, and that'll make me happy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, for me, come on, Amethyst Steel, come on, you can do it. I picked you as my win for this weekend. Go, go, go.
You've got the numbers behind you. It's the most played deck.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I feel pretty good about that. I do feel good about that.
It's looking pretty good. Well, we're heading up here, right? This is kind of like step 1, the Disney Lorcaner Challenge. And the final step, that's the World Championships.
Yeah, it is.
But between there, we have the European Championships. But I'm sure there's a bunch of people at home thinking, how does it work? What's the format going to look like for the European Championships? How is that tournament going to run? Well, do we have wonderful news for you? Because Rebecca is standing by with a very handsome man to tell you all about it.
Hello, Illumineers. We are here at Disney Lorcaner Challenge Ghent, and we know that you all are as excited as we are, because I am excited about the announcements that we have around the Disney Lorcaner North American and European Championships. Now, you've already heard about the format for the LCQs, the last chance qualifier, but Ross joining me here in the lounge. We're going to take a look at the main event format.
And this is the big one. This is the most exciting tournament of the year for Europe and North America until we get to the World Championships. But it's not just going to be a tournament you can rock up to. There is unfortunately going to be a qualification. But then if you qualify, we're going to tell you how you're going to run through that tournament. And hopefully, if you have a very good day, qualify for the World Championships.
Yes, of course. The format is core constructed, and it's going to include sets 9 through 13 that is fabled through Attack of the Vine, which is really exciting. Of course, set rotation coming again, and that's what these players are going to be playing in those championship events.
We're going to keep people on their toes. There is another set rotation. There are new sets. We'll know a little bit about those sets. They're looking very exciting. Now, in terms of number of players, we've got 136 in North America, and we've got 200 over in EU, and there's essentially 3 different ways to get there.
Yes.
There's 160 people that qualify from challenges.
Yes, and we have folks who have qualified through the CCQs, which are those third-party events happening around the world, and then also through those LCQ events that we talked about earlier.
And those are going to be both very fun and very stressful. 512 players, single elimination, 2 pods. But if you're one of those final 8 players remaining, then you get to go and play in that main event afterwards. And as a player, I can tell you these things are very stressful, but if you make it through, that feeling is second to none, Rebecca.
Oh, I can't imagine how it would feel to gain that spot to play in this North American and European Championship event. And they're going to be going into, though, some grueling rounds, 9 rounds of Swiss on a best of 3 on the first day, and then only the top 16 are going to be qualifying for day 2.
Yeah, you're going to have a very, very good run to make that top 16. And then, of course, we go into a single elimination best of 5.
Best of 5!
And it has to be best of 5, Rebecca, because that first round of top 16, absolutely crucial. You win that game, you get into the top 8, and that is your World Championship spot locked in. And then, of course, there's just a small matter of, fighting to become your champion.
Oh, yes. And of course, they want that. They want those amazing prizes that we've looked at. They want that title and all the glory that comes with it. But really, it's that top 8, the invite to the World Championship that I know is going to be on the players' mind. So, yeah, like you said, that top 16 round is going to be a lot of pressure on those players. And best of 5 is going to be huge.
And there's going to be players, we see it every time, there's going to be players who come through that LCQ, have a great run, and they're feeling it. They're in their zone. Their deck is working. They're playing well. And then they just go all the way through that main event up to that top 16 to fight for that World Championship qualification. We have no idea what the format's going to look like at that point. Everything's going to be different. But we do know that the best of the best are going to have to be at their best to get all the way through to that top 8 finish.
Yes, and of course, here in Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent, the top 32 are earning their way straight to that championship. So they're going to jump right in. And we are excited to bring you all more gameplay today, more Disney Lorcana. So stick with us, Illumineers, and get your tickets, get your phones ready for March 21st and 22nd. That is when tickets go on sale for these championship events. We'll be right back with more Disney Lorcana.
Hello. I'm missing someone. Oh, hey.
Oh, what did I miss?
Not much. It's fine. It was just Rebecca and some guy talking about the World Championship. It's all good.
Oh, thank goodness that lounge is close.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds fun. I tell you what, Euros, I'm getting a little bit excited for Euros. We saw the promos earlier. They looked fantastic.
Absolutely.
And the last chance qualifier I've played in tournaments like that in the past, they are the most stressful because when you get to Euros, top 16, that's going to be the most stressful round.
Yeah.
Because it's literally top 8 gets a World's invite, but we can't to top 16. So at both the championships, North American and European, we are going to have that round of 16 where everybody's top cut, half of them are going to the World Championships and half of them are going to fall just short. And if it's anything like last year, there aren't going to be many invites for the World Championships given out. And if you lose that top 16 match at the European Championships, you might not get another chance for that World's qualification.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's tricky. But we were talking about a stressful situation. We're going to go over to the lounge for a very fun situation here. I'm really excited. We played Draw the Card yesterday. I played it with Baker, and he drew a very questionable, in my opinion, Vixie. And I drew a apparently pretty good Pua.
Your Pua was awesome. I need to warn everyone there before we throw. Joe has told us that his art is next level. I don't want to be rude, Jen. He said that his art is going to make yours look, well, not as good as his. He is absolutely adamant that he is, I think generational artist is the phrase Joe used, so I think we should all judge him by those words.
Okay, well, I'll believe it when I see it, but we're going to go see it now. Enjoy.
Hello, Illumineers, back in the lounge. I am joined here by none other than Joe Curley, and I'm excited to put your art skills to the test.
Yeah, some have called me the generational artist. I think that's the first, might be the last. I'm certainly a little bit nervous.
Yes.
And our lovely production team as well have said, oh, it's all going to be winter spell cards, right? No, it's just a huge jumble.
We don't know. We don't know what these cards are. We don't know what set they're from. They did tell us that they're going to be cute cards, though. So
Most cards are quite cute,
I
so
mean-
I don't know if that narrows it down that much, but we're going to give it our best
We're going
go.
to give it our best, you know, and I'm channeling my inner Rapunzel today.
Fantastic.
And as we know, Rapunzel is a fantastic artist.
Absolutely.
Gifted artist, one might say.
Yep.
So hopefully that can help me out with some drawing for you. I'm not the worst, but I'm definitely not the best. So good luck to you. I think I'm
Yes.
going first.
Yeah, and also in the Twitch chat, you can get along, and you can also write it down in the chat what you think. Rebecca, you've got like
I've
5
got-
or 6 cards back
Yes.
there. One is going to be picked
I'm not looking.
at random.
I'm going to turn away, pick one at total random.
And of course, I cannot look.
And here's
I
my
certainly
card.
cannot look.
Hopefully.
So, I'm
This is
gauging the reaction.
cute.
Okay, it's cute.
Production resort. Yes, this
Okay.
is very cute. And I'm going to put my microphone
Microphone down. I've got it covered, but hope you're all enjoying the action here. We are going to be bringing you the next round very soon, but while we've got a little bit of downtime, having some fun with it. I'm so ready, Rebecca. It's unbelievable. It's Simba. It's Nala. It's Grandmother Willow. That's not very cute, is it? It's... Okay. I'm seeing some cows. Is it space cows? I'm seeing some pigs in the fields. I'm seeing a... I mean, I'm not sure what this is. It's like a tree with ants on it. No words, please, Rebecca. That's cheating. She just said, that's her. There was no clues there. Okay, that looks like a... That's definitely a cat. Yeah, that's a cat. So it's Cheshire Cat, inexplicable. 101 Dalmatians. It's 100 puppies. It's 99 puppies. Let's go. That was a great effort. Although I think, if we're honest, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 puppies.
If I drew 99 puppies, we would be here for a very long time. But see, they're running down the street.
You've done a great
So,
effort there.
Yeah, 99
I'm not
puppies.
sure I'm going to be able to compete with that, if I'm honest. I'm going to wipe the board.
Unfortunately, they do kind of look like cats, I'm sorry to say. So apologies to all the dog lovers out there for my rendition of Dalmatian puppies, but you got it. That's the most important part. Swap seats.
We're going to
Let's
do a
go.
little swap over,
Little swap.
as we're
swippity
both
swap.
right-handed.
Here we go.
Oh, it's just the
You
chair.
need- Here's a pen for
I'm
you.
going to put the microphone down. I'm going to see what we're... Okay, let me
There's
just
some
pick
good
one at random.
ones.
Okay.
The facial expression has me concerned.
Okay, I'm going to put my mic down.
Put your mic down. I can't wait to see what this is.
I think it's doable.
It's doable, he says. Joe says it's doable. I am looking forward to see what the doodle of this doable Disney Lorcana card is. And here we are. We are off. We've got a head. We've got some eyes, maybe some interesting. This is a villain, maybe. Oh, some sharp teeth. Who has? Is this a headless? Well, no, it's not. Is that his head of the headless horseman? Okay, now we have round eyes. We've gone away from the triangles. No triangle eyes. Oh, with eyelashes, like an Yzma? What is... oh! Ears and some kind of elf thing. It's angry with the teeth and the ears and 2 pieces of hair. And now it's happy. Now it's a happy with an underbite. What in the world? I mean, this is very good. It's lovely. It's okay, chat. Hopefully, you guys are all getting it. A third. Oh, is this an alien from Lilo and Stitch? This is not Jumba, is it? No, it's not Jumba Jukiba. It's not Pleakley. Is it la? Someone, is it an angel singing? An angel siren singer? Oh, there we go. I see it.
Generational artist, I think was the expression that Ross used. But we are going to do one more.
Siren
Shall I
Singer.
draw one more? Or
I would love for you to
Oh,
draw one
goodness,
more.
okay.
That was excellent. Here, I'll give this a clean up. Yeah, the generational artist at work here.
Okay, I've got another one.
Doable also.
Doable,
Okay.
perhaps.
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 All right.
Okie dokie.
We are
Okie dokie.
ready. I am ready. Okay. Is it another alien? Not another alien. Okay, okay. That's a line we have. I love the attention to the perspective I think that's going on here. You know, for art. Oh, you want to? Oh, we don't know what to do. We've got some hair fur, some raging storm going on down here. Fireball being thrown. A dragon, maybe. Like a maleficent dragon. Maleficent monstrous dragon. Dragon fire. Yes. That's fantastic. I mean, fantastic in you drew it in a way that I could guess.
Yeah. Honestly, Rebecca, if we went one thing here, you're extremely good at this game.
You know, I love Pictionary. You know, I do enjoy it very much. Do we have time for one more, or are we ready?
We could do one more. We can do one more.
All right.
Should we swap over
I'll
again?
Swap over.
I'll give the border wipe.
Doot, doot, doot. Here we go. Uh-oh, Pascal. I will pick another random card from over here.
Yeah, we are waiting for the next
And
round to start, everybody, so you're not missing any action. Do
this
not worry.
Oh, okay. This might be a tough one to guess. This might be, we'll see. We'll see. I think you can get it.
Okay,
I think you can get it.
I'm ready.
And here we go.
I am so ready. It's Simba. It's Nala. It's Mufasa. It's Scar. It's Sarabi. It's Megara. It's Madame Medusa. Oh, it is a lion. But I've said all the lions. Oh, it's You Have Forgotten Me. She said it's not a character card. But
Yes,
that's a great
I gave you
effort.
a little clue. I said not a character card, but it is You Have Forgotten Me.
I will say that Simba and Nala were also my first guesses for the last one, just by pure coincidence.
Just by
I just
pure
I just wanted to say something and get the guesses rolling early. If it was Baker,
Right.
I would have started with Be Prepared, for example.
Of course, yes. No. That's not bad.
That's a really good effort. I'm quite impressed. And I have seen our players are starting to get settled down, Rebecca, as well. So the next round can't be
Excellent.
too far away. Have you been enjoying your time in
I
Ghent?
have been. Any favorite games that you've seen so far this weekend?
I think it's got to be yesterday we had an Amber Amethyst Raging Storm deck with the library.
Yes.
And then this morning seeing Lucas Kalper with Ruby Amber Boost deck. That was something I really, really enjoyed. But I've been really enjoying roaming the halls, seeing the big jigsaw puzzles going on as well.
Yes.
It's been an awful lot of fun, that's for sure.
I know that Baker was out there doing Disney trivia with
Yep.
fans as well. That was super fun and just lots of activity going on. But these games, some exciting decks that we've seen. Of course, this is the second of the main events. We had one that ran yesterday. Today is day one again. We
Yes.
thought it was so much fun. Let's do it all again. And we are going into round 4. So this is, of course, all players are trying to get to 6 wins or 18 match points to make it to day 2.
Yep.
So we are getting ready now to see some Disney Lorcana.
Yeah, but you also want to get as many wins as you possibly can. If you can go even better than 6-2, Rebecca, that's going to help you a lot on Sunday and even just help you secure that slightly better seeding. And that can make a big difference, right? If you're the 16th seed, you're going to be going on the play in your very first game. And then if you are the 17th seed, you would actually be on the draw.
Yes.
So it can make even that tiny little difference. So it's all to play for. Every single win matters as well for your tiebreakers. So it's
Yes.
really high stakes here, and that's part of the fun, isn't it?
That's a very good point. Yeah, being on the play or on the draw can be just that one turn difference can make all the difference
Although
for
those
these players.
underdogs.
The underdogs do change it up, and we've seen some fantastic underdogs in play this weekend. Christopher Robin really making a good showing. Angel that we just drew earlier, another wonderful underdog.
And Liquidator is actually one that
Yes.
I've been seeing quite a bit of. We saw it in round 1, and I've been really, really impressed by it. So really enjoying that dynamic.
And especially with dogs running around, something like Liquidator's fantastic for getting, you know, trying to keep your dog's player in check in that early game.
Yes.
So having that Liquidator on board, really important. Well, I can't wait to see what decks we have here to show you in round 4. We have some amazing team members in the booth ready to bring you those games. So let's throw it on over there.
Thanks, guys. What amazing and also questionable drawings you did there. I really enjoyed them. So we're going into round 4 today. Our Saturday main event here at the Disney Lorcaner Challenge in Ghent, Belgium. How you feeling, Kim?
I'm so excited. This means round 4 means we're literally halfway through our day, essentially, meaning by the end of this day, we're going to have players with 18 points or more going forward to day 2, and that day 2 that we were talking about yesterday is going to be tomorrow.
I'm so excited. So we are very shortly going into our round 4 feature match here. And I believe we did glance at the what these decks are, and I think they might be both mine and your top choices to win this weekend. So we've got a little bit of a battle going
We
on
do have
here,
a little
I
bit
think.
of a battle. Is Jen's pick for the win to take it all and win it all, or is my pick to take it all and win it all this weekend going to come out on top? Because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to know, because I feel like either way, these decks play into each other pretty well. But then, obviously, Sapphire Emerald has really key tools to use against these Amethyst Steel matchups. You know, just in case they're listening to us. You know our predictions for this weekend. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen, because the reason I picked Sapphire Emerald is because it has like all the key tools essentially that basically a really good deck needs, which is card draw, it has removal, item removal, and we're already ready to get into it.
Oh, yes, here we are. I'm really excited to see these this matchup. So we've got Mateo Ronco here on Amethyst Steel, my choice for the weekend, and we've got Edmund Chu, who of course we know is a very well-known player in the community, on your choice, Amber Emerald.
Yeah, you may recognize Edmund Chu, or Ed Chu, as most people, as he's known in the community, a previous DLC winner, not to mention did compete in Worlds.
Of course he
and
did.
did manage to take that second place, and maybe this season is coming back to take it all and get his #1 spot in the World Championship. And maybe he'll do that just this weekend and secure his ticket, and maybe my deck will be the deck to win and take it all.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not gonna root for that, because obviously I want Amethyst Steel to win. But hey ho, we are rooting for all our players here this weekend. All 2,000 players in our main event that we have here today, and 2,000 from yesterday. But here we go, we're off. So we have a Clarabelle coming down on Ed's board, and we have that Christopher Robin underdog coming down on Mateo's board.
Yeah, one of the new cards we got in this set, Winter Spell. And I know he's a bit of an underdog, you know, if we think about it that way. But unfortunately, no turn 2 ramp there for Ed on Sapphire Emerald. And of course, the things these Sapphire decks always look for is their turn 2 ramp. However, did not go to waste. We were able to play a Vision of the Future, and there is that Sail the Azure Sea in hand, perhaps for next turn.
Exactly, yeah. As a Sapphire deck, you don't want to miss that second turn ramp with the T-Po or Sail the Azurite Sea, but we can see that he's played that Sail the Azurite Sea now. But on Mateo's board, we see that brand new Pocahontas from Winter Spell following the, what is it? Following the Wind,
Following the Wind.
Yeah, that's it. I haven't got my glasses on and I couldn't remember. Yeah, and that's a really fun new card in Winter Spell, I think. And we have seen it played quite a bit in this Amethyst Steel deck build. It's sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, and here is our Giant Cobra, and it does seem like our Amethyst Steel player did indeed discard a card in order to gain 2 lore, and then of course we're just gonna quest with Christopher Robin, who is also, he is a 2 cost 1/3, but he does quest for 2, but we were able to get it out on turn 1 because he has the underdog ability, meaning he did only cost 1 if you were the player going second.
Yeah, he's arguably one of the better underdog cards, I think, because we got an underdog card in every single ink color, and I think it's generally, he's seen as definitely one of the top tier ones, but we see that we've got that Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman down on Ed's board, which of course allows both players to draw an additional card at the start of their turn. And we've got that Yzma on Matea's board.
Yeah, Yzma Conniving Chemist, a really useful tool in these Amethyst Steel decks coming out to help draw cards. But not only that, there was a Strength of the Raging Fire came down to get rid of that Clarabelle. Mateo realizing, oh, I don't want you to be able to shift Clarabelle Light in her hooves here. I need to get rid of this Clarabelle 1-drop target right away.
Definitely, definitely. But we got that John Silver, Alien Pirate came down, making the Christopher Robin, I believe, Reckless, which is why it's been flipped upside down, just so we don't forget that it has Reckless this turn, of course. You got to make sure you don't forget these things.
Yeah, but this is the card that could come in now and cause a lot of havoc. I believe that is the Cheshire Cat. Whisper, inexplicable.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't quite tell. And for some reason, I was like, why does it look different?
It's the beautiful rainbow foiling, I think, caught her off guard.
If only you could see me, I was proper, like, head at 90 degrees, like, trying to figure out. But yes, it is, of course. It's our Cheshire Cat Inexplicable and immediately being boosted to move some damage over and get rid of that Donald Duck.
Yeah, so even though our Christopher Robin did have Reckless and had to challenge the Donald Duck, we were able to move the rest of the damage from the Cheshire Cat, off the Christopher Robin, to get rid of the Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman. And another vision of the future coming in, and Ed says, no, you've got this.
Gosh.
You've got this.
That
Amethyst Steel.
One of the quickest games that we've seen this weekend. So incredibly fast. But yeah, I think Ed knows. We know that he is an incredibly experienced player. I mean, he went to friggin' Worlds, as you said, got second place. So he's an experienced player. He knows it when he sees it, and he knew it was over, unfortunately. Wow.
Yeah, going for the vision of the future, trying to dig through the deck, maybe search for the answer he needed. Maybe he needed a Hades or a Let It Go or something to help, even if... Yeah, maybe it was a spooky sight. Maybe it was the Under the Sea might have helped. But unfortunately, like, our Amethyst Steel player got so ahead on lore so quickly. And I think that's the way you need to play Amethyst Steel into these slower decks. Yes, Ed was on the play, which he would have had a slight advantage against this deck. But that Christopher Robin still coming out on turn 1 because of the new underdog ability. Yeah. Being able to quest for 2 and really putting on the pressure so early on against Ed was really detrimental. And like, Ed just realizing, no, I've no way to come back out of this. Let's scoop up. Let's just go to game 2.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's do a new match. It's understandable. Sometimes it be that way, you know. And I think because there was such a wide board against him, it was a really, really tricky situation. So we'll be going into our match 2 for this, our round 4 feature match here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Ghent, Belgium. So let's see if this game lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah, and hopefully this time round, Ed will have the turn 2 ramp, which in this case, I do see a Tipo going back in the altering phase.
Maybe he had 2?
Maybe he had 2, or maybe there was a sale.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is just going for that vision of the future and trying to play a different style.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But we will find out very shortly. I mean, if you are... How do you feel about this matchup? I mean, of course, this is Amethyst Steel versus... wow, my brain is blanking.
Emerald Sapphire.
That's it, the one. Thank you.
You got this, girl.
So, you know, how do you feel about this matchup if you're either of these players? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it okay?
Yeah, I know a lot of these Emerald Sapphire decks are cutting a lot of the Under the Seas, and they're leaning more into the Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes, and Malicious, Mean and Scary. And that's kind of the plan you kind of want to take against these Amethyst Steel decks, because particularly in this instance, they have the ability to move so fast. And especially if you're able to just Prince Phillip, Malicious, Mean and Scary combo to clear the board, you have things like Giant Cobra. So even if they can quest so fast to be able to gain so much lore. They might be on 18, and then one top deck of a Giant Cobra can be really detrimental and for the other player, and that ultimately can sometimes lead to the game-winning play. So it is going to be Olaf helping hand come into play for our Amethyst Steel. We're straight in on the action, and this time Ed does have that turn 2 ramp. He does have the Sail the Azurite Sea, and we are going to be able to ink, and there is 2 Cinderellas in hand, meaning next turn we could see the Cinderella come into play. Followed up by that Pocahontas that you're so fond of, Jen.
Oh yeah, we really could. So we're seeing this 2-4-6 potential curve for Edmund Chu, which we have talked about a bit. Can you talk us through that, like 2-4-6 line that a Sapphire deck especially is looking for?
Yeah, of course, because obviously, like, we know we just saw the Malicious Minion Scary in there, and ideally you play your 3-drop Prince Phillip with Ward, and then you can ideally shift, but of course, Sapphire moves so quickly. You get so much ink so quickly, you don't even need to be able to shift the Prince Phillip half the time. If Ed can, like, there's another Cinderella in hand. What we could potentially see next turn is just another Cinderella, and ultimately just keep using Cinderella to ink a card and draw a card until he gets the Prince Phillip and gets enough ink to be able to pull off the combo. And there is that Giant Cobra we were talking about earlier coming in for Mateo, and I believe he did discard to be able to gain an additional 2 lore.
Oh yes, so we see an Elsaphist Spirit there going into the Inkwell, and Ed, I think, just drew into it You're Welcome. And also, yeah, has that Malicious Minion Scary on board. But there's that second Cinderella that you were talking about before. So we've got 2 Cinderellas on board. So, as you said, potential to get even more ink into his Inkwell and play all of those big cards that we know this Sapphire Emerald deck plays.
Yeah, looking like he's inking the Malicious Minion Scary, but of course having 2 Cinderellas on board, meaning it's another princess. So we're going to be able to do 2 Cindy triggers, meaning but Ed's going to be able to ink a card, draw a card, and then if he still doesn't like his hand, he just have the ability to ink an additional card off the other Cinderella and draw another card.
Oh yes, we see that Yzma Conniving Chemist again coming down, that all-important card draw for the Amethyst Steel deck. Not every Amethyst Steel deck plays this Yzma, but we did see recently, oh, there's a Clarabelle Light on her hooves, not a shift, we're just playing it straight up here, and he played the You're Welcome as well that we saw him draw into before to get rid of that Yzma that I was just talking about. She's gone.
Yeah, but
no card draw for you.
But not only that, he did let him draw 2 additional cards. But when you have a card like Clarabelle on the board, is really great because now Ed is going to be able to draw up just as many cards as Mateo has in his hand.
You are correct. It is beneficial. We saw that in the previous round as well, where they got the Clarabelle Light on her hooves down and then they played the You're Welcome and they got to draw those extra cards. So it is a nice little combo there for them.
Yeah, and here is our shift target for the Prince Phillip Vanquisher of Foes, our 3-drop with Ward. So when it has Ward, it's not going to be able to be targeted by any of the likes of Strength of the Raging Fire or perhaps Thunderbolt that Mateo might have in the deck.
And we've got that Genie Magical Researcher there as well on Mateo's board. Another new card from Winterspell, which has a boost 1, which I've talked about before. It's just a nice little cheap boost. I love a boost 1. And he gains 1 extra lore for every card underneath him. So currently he would be able to quest for 2 lore.
Yeah, and Giant Cobra there did take a little bit of a challenge, did take out that Cinderella Dreams Come True, and our Pocahontas was able to quest and gain 2 lore by choosing the Clarabelle to gain as much lore as a targeted opposing character.
I believe so, yeah. So, you know, notably the Genie Magical Researcher and that Pocahontas Following the Wind are quite a good pair to have on the board at the same time, because as you are boosting your Genie, you can then quest for more with your Pocahontas. But there's that Prince Phillip you were talking about with Ward coming down, and also that another Cinderella Dream Country, a T-Pode to get even more ink into the Inkwell. Wow, this Emerald Sapphire deck is really doing its job right now.
Yeah, Cinderella didn't stay gone for long, but Ed had another one, and Clarabelle out on the board, meaning that even though Ed's hand was empty, he was able to draw up to the same amount of cards that Mateo had in his hand. And it's so beneficial, this card. It's so great when you're against something like Amethyst, when Amethyst, essentially as an ink color, is known for its ability to just draw so many cards. But also, we were able to get rid of that Pocahontas.
Yep,
while the
understandable.
Clarabelle did a little challenge. And of course, Tipo Growing Sun with, I know it's Spessie's favorite flavor text.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard.
I think he said it earlier.
Yeah,
to
he
be
goes,
honest.
Mom, I think I'm still growing. So, and then of course we have Demona
Wow.
coming in.
Exert all of those characters on the opposing board when she comes into play. And of course, also draw up to 3 cards. So I believe their Ed had 2 in hand, and I think he drew an extra one from the Demona. So not ideal for Mateo, but he also got to draw some extra cards into hand, so that's nice.
Yeah, but she's not to mention, she's also a 5/6 stat line, meaning that we could challenge here. But of course, she can't challenge because she doesn't have rush or anything like that. But of course, our Genie Magical Researcher can challenge, and we will get rid of that Clarabelle.
Understandable.
And our Olaf here going into that Prince Phillip doesn't want Ed being able to shift a Prince Phillip Vanquisher of foes on top.
No, thank you. And of course, that Olaf helping hand could have bounced one of Mateo's characters back to hand, but the only character left is the Demona. He doesn't necessarily want to bounce her back to hand, although her when played ability is useful. We want to keep her on board, I think. But we see Edmund playing a You're Welcome here on his own character to get the draw himself. So he shuffles that character back into his deck, and then he gets to draw 2 cards. We do sometimes see this. Obviously, You're Welcome is used as a very, very good removal card for to get rid of something on your opponent's board. It can be also, it doesn't have to be a character, it can be an item or a location as well. But we do sometimes see it being used on the player's own character to get some card draw.
Yeah, and exactly the card that Ed probably drew into and definitely wanted to see was our Basil, which when played, you can bounce the opposing character back to the hand. But not only that, it's a John Silver Alien Pirate coming into play. And I do believe I also saw the Prince Phillip Vanquisher of foes in his hand.
Okay, well, that's good to know. We got that Genie Wish Fulfilled coming down from Mateo, drawing an extra card, getting that nice evasive body on board. Quest for 2, Giant Cobra also, and I do think he discarded a card to gain 2 lore.
Yeah, and not to mention our Basil, whenever it quests, can discard a card at random from your opponent's hand.
Of course, of course. So, questing with Basil.
Yeah, I think I may have got a glimpse of what was in their hand, of what was in Ed's hand there. But of course, Basil's going to quest first. We're going to be able to discard a card at random, and that card was Demona.
It was using that interfere ability. I interfere with your hand and I get rid of something. Get out of here, because when he quests, chosen opponent discards a card at random. We saw them rolling the die there to just choose one of those cards at random.
Yeah, and of course we can quest with John Silver, Alien Pirate here, and give an opposing character Reckless, meaning during Mateo's next turn, this Genie, I believe, has been chosen, is not going to be able to quest, is going to have to challenge.
Turning it upside down to make sure we don't forget that it has Reckless. Sometimes people put a marker on, sometimes people turn them upside down. I sometimes will put a marker on it. It's always good to you know, you got to keep track of things. You don't want to forget that.
There's a lot of stuff that happens in this game. It's important to know what's going on.
Exactly, you got to keep track. So, yeah, that John Silver, we saw it in the last round as well. Very, very powerful, not only when it's played, but when it quests, it can do that ability. Strength of a Raging Fire to deal 2 damage to the John Silver. Not enough to obviously banish it, but something better than nothing. And we play a Dock, draw 2 cards, and he's playing both of them down. A Palace Guard and another Cheshire Cat, getting rid also of the John Silver. Wow. That was a lot happened in that turn.
That was a lot, but really trying to regain his board state, really. But however, majority of these cards, except Cheshire Cat, is going to be targeted by an Under the Sea, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Between Basil and Tipo, who knew they were such great singers, going to be able to sing together the Under the Sea to send all of those cards under the deck, and only our Cheshire Cat Whisper left on the board.
Incredible. And played that Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes that our Emerald decks love so much. No cards banished from it because there was no damage on board, but still, he quests for 3 and he's a 6/6, so you want to get him down.
Yeah, and that Hades looking for a deal, and Mateo's looking for a deal and wanted to get rid of the Prince Phillip. It looked like Edmund said, no, I don't want you to get rid of my main Prince Phillip under the deck. And so Mateo did draw an extra 2 card. Cheshire Cat is going to challenge the Cinderella. Cinderella's going to be banished, and we're going to boost this Cheshire Cat gen to move the 2 damage off the Cheshire Cat and onto our Tipo growing sun.
Oh yes, you can clear my board, but I can clear your board as well. So now we both players with 2 characters on board. Mateo on 12 lore though to Edmund's 6 or 7/8. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, and also by letting Mateo draw 2 cards off this Hades meant there was cards in Mateo's hand to be discarded, for one of them to be discarded, because before that there was no cards left in Mateo's hand, to be discarded by this Basil.
You're correct, Kim. You are very correct. Of course, it quested and discarded a card at random. So, having a think, Prince Phillip is going to get rid of that Cheshire Cat. Understandable. And we're playing another Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes down on the board. That is 2 huge characters on board for Ed here.
Yeah, we didn't even need to use the Malicious, Mean and Scary Prince Phillip combo. We are just playing the Prince Phillips out to the board, but that second Prince Phillip is no more, as Ed did choose to let Mateo put the Prince Phillip on the bottom of the deck with Hades looking for a deal's ability. So just 1 Prince Phillip and a Basil left on the board for Ed. However, this Prince Phillip quests for 3. So it is such a good, it's a 6/6 quest for 3, and also it's evasive. So Mateo can't challenge into it very much. But of course, it's still 13-8 to Mateo, and there's still 4 lore on Mateo's board. He's threatening here.
It is a tricky situation. Is that another Prince Phillip Vanquisher of Foes? And all 3 of them, notably, have not been shifted. They have been played for their full ink cost here. I was not expecting to see 3 of those played, not shift, in such quick succession. Wow.
Yeah, and I did mention earlier, like, Sapphire will get a lot of ink, Jen,
Yeah.
and this just proves the reason why you don't really need to shift it, and you can just play straight to the board. But of course, Mateo making great use of all of the tools like Strength of the Raging Fire in Amethyst Steel, being able to clear up the other Prince Phillip that had damage on it. So just a Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman, and Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes left on the board. Is going to be joined by John Silver, Alien Pirate. We're going to give the Genie Wish Fulfilled Reckless, meaning it's going to have to challenge next turn. And there is our 3-cost Prince Phillip.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll get shifted onto. Who knows? But that's it. No, that is it. We have ended that game. I believe it went to Edmund Chu. Very, very nice. It was a very difficult situation for Mateo there. Not much he could do. Edmund, those 3 Prince Phillip, I can't get over that. 3 Prince Phillip Vanquisher of Foes played full incost in such quick succession. 6/6, quest for 3. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so interesting as well when you think about it, because Ed went first both games. But of course, game 1, he didn't hit the turn 2 ramp, which is kind of why it shows like how important for these Sapphire decks it is to kind of either get Tipo or get their sail and kind of get their ramp. So even though their early game is so slow, they build up so much ink to be able to play like the Prince Phillip. And we saw it happen, and ultimately Ed was able to take the win, was able to gain board control and take the win, be able to. But this time, going into the next game, Ed's going to be on the draw.
Yeah, exactly. So really, really interesting going into this 3rd game. First game and second game were quite different. And of course, 1-1 currently in this feature match of round 4. So I'm really, really excited to see how this 3rd game is going to go and who's going to take this win.
Yeah, and it's going to be the first time Mateo is going to be on the play this time around. Ed's going to be on the draw. And the question is he going to hit the turn 2 ramp?
Is he? That is the big question. He got it in the last game, but didn't get it in the first game. So, yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, ideally for these Emerald Sapphire decks, they're looking to hit their turn 2 ramp into perhaps their Cinderella. But of course, Cinderella's not the only 4-drop they can hit if they don't have the Cinderella. There's also Donald Duck, Perfect Gentleman. But both players going into the altering phase here, going to alter whatever cards they don't like. And, you know, if they really like, they can alter all 7. But if they only want to keep 2, they can keep 2.
Exactly.
And alter the rest.
I always feel when you're in the altering stage, if you're against someone and they say, I'm going to keep all of them, it's a bit scary.
Yeah, it is a bit scary, especially if you're the player going second. The player going first does have to alter their hand first, so you can just sit there, and this is the classic edge choose stare down, and we're ready to go. It's Olaf helping hand coming onto the board.
Very, very nice, good start. We love that Olaf helping hand. And we can see there is a T-Po in Ed's hand, so he does have that second turn ink ramp, but I can't quite tell if he has a card to play first. He's clearly trying to think about what to ink. He's inking the T-Po.
Yeah, I believe he's inking T-Po because he does have another turn to ramp in the form of Sail,
yes.
and we do see our 1-drop Clarabelle coming into play for Ed.
Great, so he had those 2 choices of the turn 2 ink ramp. You can go T-Po or you can go Sail the Azurite Sea. Both are good, both are great options. And yeah, that's understandable, but we've got a Palace Guard coming down on Mateo's board. That big 1-4 stat line can be really tricky to get rid of and can get that cheeky lure quite early on because he's harder to deal with if he's exerted and vulnerable. Difficult to get rid of in a challenge sometimes early on.
Yeah, but of course, you just have that vanish keyword, so if he is targeted by any actions or abilities from song cards, for example, he will just poof and vanish.
And there's that Genie Magical Researcher again that we saw last time. Again, it's got that boost 1 ability, and it gets an extra quest for an extra lore for each card underneath it. So we got another Sail the Azurite Sea here for Ed. So we're getting that even more ink ramp. He's really going for it because you have to. That's what Sapphire does best, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately not a turn 3 Cinderella after that turn 2 Sail, but we do have another way to ink, and it's going to be in the form of Sail the Azurite Sea. So this turn Ed will be able to ink 2 cards, meaning he will have an extra 3 ink available, so he can ink 2 cards and perhaps play that Prince Phillip. And yes, there it is, our 3-cost Prince Phillip with Ward coming in, setting up for potentially either a Clarabelle shift and maybe further down the line our Prince Phillip shift.
Very, very nice indeed.
Yeah, going back over to Mateo now, a Olaf, a Genie, and a Palace Guard on the board. What do you have next?
I mean, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, so we've got reasonably good boards for both players here. Of course, we have that Prince Phillip Ward on board. So, you know, Mateo is going to be very, very aware of the shift for that. But he's using the Strength of a Raging Fire to get rid of that Clarabelle. So that shift is out of the window. It's out of here. You cannot shift that Clarabelle now, okay?
Yeah, Genie Wish Fulfilled came into play there, meaning 4 damage was going to be dealt to the Clarabelle. We could have just dealt 2, but no. We're also going to play a Genie Wish Fulfilled and draw a card. And there it is. It is going to be a Prince Phillip Vanquisher of Foes instead of using his ability to get rid of Glimmers with 2 strength or with a damage on them. It's going to be an Under the Sea to get basically all of the characters that have 2 strength or less under that deck.
That's another way to do it. I mean, yeah, because he's a 9 ink cost, and Under the Sea is an 8 ink cost, I believe, so it needs to be sung for 8, so he can sing it very, very easily, and I'm sure he's got a very lovely voice.
Yeah, Ed obviously showing he's very experienced in this deck and realizes, oh, well, you got rid of my Clarabelle, but I don't actually need my Clarabelle. I still have my Prince Phillip shift, and a lot of times people are cutting Under the Sea and going full in on the Prince Phillip Malicious, Mean, and Scary combo, where you can still play Prince Phillip a combo, but also you can still throw in an Under the Sea because Prince Phillip shift himself can sing it.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got that Christopher Robin underdog down again. Importantly, a quest for 2 with a 1-3 stat line, not terrible. Oh my gosh, he's done it again! Singing Under the Sea with the Prince Phillip. Get rid of those 2 cards that Mateo had just put down on the board. That is not what Mateo is wanting to see right now. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So a second under the sea. Can you believe it? Not only was there one, there was two. And Prince Phillip singing it, meaning he still has his ink available to be able to play it, but I don't believe he did.
No, we can see he's just got a Cinderella Dream Come True in Ed's hand there. Mateo has the card advantage currently.
Yeah, and the Genie, just a Genie Magical Researcher on the board now. We know there was a Cinderella, but what was the other card drawn? And it was a Clarabelle Light on our hooves. Ooh. But of course, we could ink this if we wanted to, if Ed is looking for a better card. But it looks like he did. I don't know if he found a better card, but he did find that other Prince Phillip.
He did indeed. He did indeed. So Mateo still has the card advantage here. He's playing that Yzma down to hopefully, if she can stay for long enough, hopefully get some more card draw. But Yzma tends not to stay for too long, unfortunately. If you see an Yzma, you try and get rid of her, you know?
Yeah, and of course, both of these Glimmers on Mateo's board having 3 strength, meaning they're not going to be able to be targeted by another Under the Sea.
Very important.
Unless Ed has a way to reduce their strength. But of course, maybe we'll see another Prince Phillip come in and a Malicious, Mean and Scary, and we could clear them that way. Mateo choosing not to quest with his Genie and wants to wait. But of course, you're welcome being not played on the Genie to get rid of the Genie, but instead, maybe Ed's looking for better cards to be able to use. Cinderella sings You're Welcome on herself to shuffle the princess back into the deck, and now Ed is going to draw 2 more cards, 2 new cards.
Serenading herself to sleep, nice and comfy in that deck. Drawing 2 cards for Ed there.
And you see what one of those cards were?
I think I did.
We got rid of a Cinderella into the deck to draw into another Cinderella. And
there
she's
she
back.
is. There she is. Wow. He must have been laughing at that. That's really fun.
Yeah, Prince Phillip just went for a little skip,
He
a hop,
did, yeah.
and a jump into questing for 3, bringing Ed up to 6. It is 6 lore to 3. Ed just getting a little bit excited there when the Prince Phillip went for a little skip, hop, and a jump, with a few cards flying all over the place.
Yeah, who wouldn't be excited? This is so much fun. Both players on 1-1 here in our 3rd match of round 4 here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Ghent, Belgium.
Yeah, both players on 9 points, hoping to make it up to 18 points today. And who's going to win this game? It can still go either way, but of course Olaf helping hand, and that's Angel Experiment 6-4 coming into play, and still I believe 3 cards left in the hand for Mateo.
Of course, so he got those. We got to see that Yzma Conniving Chemist's ability, feel the power, tap her, and if you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. And that is exactly what he did.
Yeah, and this time we're going to boost our Genie Magical Researcher once again. This time going to quest for a total of 4, bringing Mateo up to 7, now bypassing at 6, so, you know, getting back up in this lore race.
Yeah.
And one final thing, just a Captain Hook Forceful Duelist coming back out onto the board. Well, not back out, he's just being played to the board.
Yeah, not a huge amount of difference in these players' lore counts currently, but quite a significant difference in their board states. And that was, what was that was played?
That was a Distract, another reprint card
yes,
we had this set, giving it minus strength, I believe. I believe it's 2 strength,
yes,
minus 1 strength.
chosen character gets minus 2 strength this turn and draw a card.
Oh, and we're going to hit Yzma with another Distract, perhaps hoping to do a little bit of an Under the Sea. But does Ed have it? Or maybe we can just challenge in and get rid of this Genie, because next turn, Mateo could boost this Genie again and then quest for a total of 5 lore.
Yeah, I think Ed really wanting to deal with these problems here on the other side of the board. He does not want Mateo, of course, to be able to quest more. And I think also probably doesn't want that Yzma to stick around.
No, definitely not. And that's what we are going to see, is Prince Phillip challenging into the Genie. Oh, and look at all those boosted cards that were revealed. It was the Duck, the Christopher Robin, and there was a Hades underneath there.
That's not what Mateo, I'm sure he wasn't happy with that. But we see that Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman come down. Gonna get a bit more card draw. We love to see it.
Yeah, especially needed now with only, I believe, 1 card left in hand for Ed. Going back over to Mateo. No longer a Genie Magical Researcher on the board, but Yzma, Conniving Chemist, has survived another turn. But not only that, there is another one in hand. Will we see it come onto the board? But first, it is going to be Genie, Wish Fulfilled. Mateo's going to draw another card. But what else could he do?
Of course. I think also, you know, it is important if you have a way to draw cards in your turn, you probably want to do that first because then you've got all the information, you've got all the options at your disposal in your hand. So we do always see players, you know, if they can draw a card, they'll try and do it right at the start of their turn, and that's exactly what Mateo did.
Yeah, and we could definitely see Mateo here discarding a card to trigger Angel Experiment 624's ability to deal 2 damage to something, but of course it's not going to be able to banish anything yet.
But we've got another Yzma, Conniving Chemist down. I was surprised to see the other Yzma lasting this long still, and now we've got a second one on board. I mean, this is a really quite a difficult board for Ed to deal with, but you know, of course, both these players incredibly strong, very fierce players, so I'm sure they'll have options up their sleeves, you know.
Oh yes, definitely something. You know, there's boundless of ways to draw cards and boundless ways of removal for Ed, but right now Mateo just building up his board. We are going to ink a Palace Guard, it seems, and are we going to quest? Are we going to challenge? Of course, we can't challenge because this Prince Phillip that is exerted is currently evasive, so we could only challenge with the Genie. But of course, in turn, Genie will also get banished. But we are going to discard a card and use Angel's ability to deal 2 to the Prince Phillip.
I think Mateo trying to figure out if he can get rid of that Prince Phillip, because I think you're right, Kim, that is one of the biggest things that is stopping Mateo from questing here. And of course, that's how you win this game. You got to quest and get 20 lore. You're welcome again. This is the 3rd time I think we've seen Ed do this. He's playing You're Welcome on his own character to get that card draw. He needs those cards. He's got to deal with Mateo's board. There's too much going on right now.
Yeah, You're Welcome is such a useful song removal card. Because not only can you get rid of your opponent's cards, you can get rid of your own card if you really like, but you can also target items. So in that kind of a way, it's great for item removal. It's great for glimmer removal, but also it's great for just singing on your own characters and playing yourselves. Donald Duck singing Malicious, Mean and Scary. And I do believe Ed does have the Prince Phillip Vanquisher of Foes in hand to be able to play to clear Mateo's board entirely.
I wonder what it would sound like if Donald Duck actually sung Malicious, Mean and Scary.
It might be a bit like just quacks.
Yeah, I think it would. It would be fun to listen to.
It would be really fun.
Yeah,
I think I would be entertained. But of course, Ed's just taking the time to think about what to do.
Maybe he's thinking about what that would sound like.
Does he? Do you know what? I think maybe he is thinking about that. There's a lot of things he could do.
Sorry, me getting really distracted about these silly things when we have this super interesting and intense match going on in front of us. Lots of damage here.
Yeah, and of
so
course,
many damage
I don't
counters.
know if... Oh, it did indeed.
It was the Olaf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when the Olaf was banished, obviously, in turn, and then Mateo got to choose to bounce something back to his hand. So he did bounce the Angel. And of course, then our Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes, came down by Ed. It happened a few times the last game. And of course, we're going to see it again. He has enough ink to just play it. And it's going to be Elsa, the 5th Spirit, coming in. We're going to exert it. And followed up by Angel Experiment 624. But of course... Are we going to challenge here this Prince Phillip? Because Elsa will actually be banished in return, and you're not even going to be able to deal with it. We can deal with it. Elsa is going to challenge, and with Angel 624's ability of discarding a card, we can deal 2. So only 1 Prince Phillip, Vanquisher of Foes, remains on the board.
Very nice. Very astute choice there from Mateo when the Olaf had previously left, was leaving the board from that Malicious, Mean and Scary Prince Phillip combo. Of course, being able to bounce a character back to hand, so he bounced Angel.
But I have to mention, Ed played John Silver, Alien Pirate, but then also did an Ink Geyser action card, meaning that each player exerts and essentially shuffles all of your ink and then brings all of the other cards from their inkwell back to their hand until they have a total of 3 ink.
Yes, absolutely crazy. We saw one earlier, actually. I'm surprised I've seen so many Ink Ghosts today. Like, I really wasn't expecting that at all. Such an interesting card. Really, what a fascinating ability.
Yeah, especially when we know that Ed just played Prince Phillip last turn, meaning he returned a total of like at least 6 cards back to his hand that were in his Inkwell, which is such a great card if you think about it, because you might ink something earlier on that you need later on down the game, like a Basil. Maybe he inked a John Silver earlier on, but of course we're going to challenge and banish the Donald Duck Perfect Gentleman, and now Ed can just he can just quest out. We're going to be able to get up to a total of 19 lore, and if we can just stick a character to the board, and this is exactly the character you want to see with Ward, our 3-cost Prince Phillip. And there's no way Mateo can target this because it has Ward.
This is such a difficult position for Mateo to be in. And there's the handshake. There it is. Edge 2 has taken that win. 2-1 to Edge 2 here in round 4 at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Ghent. Wow. Both players played so incredibly well there, but wow, we saw some really, really interesting plays in those 3 games.
It was like outstanding because it went so quickly the first game. Like, that was the quickest game I've seen all day.
Quick.
Like, I have to say. And then it wasn't looking good for Ed at all. I was like, oh, he's not feeling great into this matchup, but he knew exactly what he needed to do. Yeah. Prince Phillip shift, even if you don't have a Malicious, Mean and Scary, and I think that's the thing that a lot of Emerald, Sapphire players don't really realize, is that you don't even have to go full in on the Prince Phillip combo. Prince Phillip is a shift 6. Yeah. So you can get, once you have 6 inks, you can shift Prince Phillip on your 3-cost Prince Phillip, and then just sing under the sea, especially against the likes of like your Amber Emerald decks when they have so many low strengths, like 2-cost or less, meaning you can target so many characters, and especially against this matchup, there's a high, especially against it, there's only a couple of characters that have more than 2 strength, and then using cards like Distract is not one I've actually seen in many meta decks.
No, I haven't seen it much either. I mean, I didn't even realize what card it was, so you can tell that I clearly haven't seen it. I mean, yeah, is that a card you would think of if you were building this deck?
To be fair, until it was reprinted, because I only knew it as the card with the giant that kind of went like this. And then I didn't think of it, and then they were like, oh, this is a reprint card, and I went, it is? And then they said, oh yeah, it has the giant that goes like this. And I went, I do know that card, but I had no idea what that card did. So I am actually so happy to see that card in play, and especially teamed up with the likes of the deck that I chose to bring it all and take it all down. But of course, Amethyst Steel really putting on quite a performance, doing a great job, and Mateo did a great job to keep up with Ed. Like, he took the game 1 win, and then Ed took the game 2, and then it really went like 50-50, but like, both players really know these decks, both very skilled players, and it's only round 4. It's not over yet. We still have 4 more rounds, and it's so very exciting, and I believe we will have a feature match 2 coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Jen, how are you feeling? Amethyst Steel.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. He, as you say, incredibly well played, a very, very well piloted deck. Just such a good job from both players there. And I really, there were points in that 3rd game where I really didn't know which way it was going to go. And I think I was feeling pretty confident that the Amethyst still had it, but you know.
Emerald Sapphire took the win in the end, so Ed now going 4-0 into round 5. But of course, the action's not over. We still get to bring you our feature match 2. I'm not sure entirely what these 2 decks are going to be at all, but I'm excited to see. And it seems like, well, I've no idea. Oh, I saw a glimpse of something. Oh, we have colors. Okay, we have information.
Okay.
It is Amber Amethyst versus, well, Baker's favorite pick, of course, Ruby Amethyst. So both decks going to draw a lot of cards, but of course we have Amethyst teamed up with Amber. I think we had a similar matchup yesterday.
I believe so.
You get a lot of the likes of Lanterns, Grandmother Willows to cheat out your bigger Amethyst cards. And unfortunately for our Amber Amethyst player here, didn't seem to have a 1-drop to play. And it seems like we're going into game 2 of our feature match 2. Ruby Amethyst taking the first win, meaning our Amber Amethyst player going on the play this time. Not sure who was the first turn, but anyway, Ruby Amethyst taking the win in game 1, it seems.
Very nice. We've got that Christopher Robin underdog coming down there for Hugo on Amethyst Ruby. We've got Adrian here with the Amber Amethyst. What is he going to play? What is he going to play? He's really thinking.
So our feature match 1, we had a you versus my deck prediction versus your deck prediction. And in feature match 2, we have a Joe Curley deck prediction and a Lorcana Villain deck prediction face-off. So
You are correct.
I am liking the little bit of a theme we've got going on here. And of course, Christopher Robin, a new card we got in Winter Spell. I know you're very keen on Amethyst Steel and the underdog ability, and I'm really enjoying, speaking of underdogs, that is the Angel underdog going into the Inkwell for Adrian.
Yeah.
Of course, he was on the play this time, meaning that he did not get to play it first, but of course, Ursula Vanessa coming into play, 2 cost with Singer 4, I believe. A 1-4,
Yes,
also
I
just a
believe
1-4, especially great for just, you know, singing beautiful songs.
Yeah, exactly, with her beautiful voice that she stole.
Yeah, and it does seem like Adrian is playing Colors of the Wind, also a new card we got this turn. I believe it's a 3-cost song, if I'm not mistaken.
It's 4 cost.
4 cost
Yeah,
song.
4 cost. Each player reveals the top card of their deck. Draw a card for each different ink type of cards revealed this way.
Yeah, Vanellope von Schweetz going into the Inkwell. We are going to play
Fun.
Diablo, Watchful Raven, while Christopher Robin goes for a little quest for 2.
Love that. He's joining in the fun.
Yeah, so Colors of the Wind teamed up perfectly with this Ursula Vanessa. So, a 4-cost song. Ursula Vanessa is a singer 4, could definitely just sing this song.
So we've got an Elsa coming down there. I can't remember which one this is, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, our 3-cost Elsa.
Yes, exploring the unknown. When you play this character, you may draw a card.
Yeah, definitely not your typical Amber Amethyst deck that
No.
we're very used to seeing at all.
Please forgive me for if I get lost in what these cards are.
Yeah, but our Ruby Amethyst deck, you know, we're going to be able to ink a card. It's going to be a Tinkerbell Fancy Footwork going into the Inkwell, and our Sisu coming into play, and our Amber Amethyst player did just draw a card, meaning that Sisu is currently has a lot of strength, you know?
Oh yes, of course, because Sisu, her strength is equal to the amount of cards in the opponent's hand. So really, really nice card to play on your 3rd turn, exactly, of course, because it is a 3-cost card if you can play it, because of course early on in the game, your opponent is much more likely to have a lot of cards in hand, so her strength is going to be real high.
Yeah, and also Adrian now does have 2 Genie Wish Fulfills in play. We do have the potential of inking a card and playing a Genie Wish Fulfilled to draw a card. It will be interesting to see if maybe we're going to sing with Ursula first. This Colors of the Wind that's kind of been sitting there for a good while.
Potentially. I mean, I really would enjoy to see that card played, because we haven't seen it. It's such a beautiful artwork card, first and foremost. But yeah, but there's the Tiger bouncing all the way. We're gonna bounce that card back to hand. I forgot what it was, but it was Diablo. That's what it was. I'm tired.
And here is that. We just saw Hugo draw a Lumiere Fiery Friend into his hand, which could come down and cause a little bit of mayhem, I like to call it, because Lumiere coming onto the board gives all the other it's a bit like Snowford, and gives all the other characters +1 strength, which, you know, then with the likes of Tigger out, is not going to be able to target an awful lot of characters if they have more than 2 strength then. With cost, well, Tigger actually can cause, because Tigger based on cost and not strength, but anything with the likes of World's Greatest Criminal Minds, though, can help. If Adrian is playing World's Greatest Criminal Minds, we'll be able to target it if this Sisu is perhaps 5 strength or more.
You are correct, Kim. I really love that Lumiere Fiery Friend that we saw in Hugo's hand. Unfortunately, it's going into the Inkwell, which makes me sad. But we're getting that Diablo back out, that all-important Diablo. And it's because he's got another Lumiere. I didn't realize he had another Lumiere. That's why it's going into the Inkwell. Yay, okay.
That definitely makes sense now. So currently, all of the other characters on Hugo's board have an additional strength. And another card, I am sure, Adrian, it seems like he's built a very maybe song-focused kind of Amber Amethyst that we haven't seen a lot is a Kutamuti, another new card we've seen where you can pay 2 less for the next character you play this turn. It works a bit like Lantern, a bit like Grandmother Willow, but also just another Amber card to help cheat out your bigger cost Glimmers.
Exactly. So Lumiere on the board there, giving all of Hugo's other characters +1 strength. And there's the Colors of the Wind being sung by Ursula, exactly as you said, Kim. Wow. I'm so glad we got to see it. That is so much fun.
Yeah, and normally always Colors of the Wind, you will draw at least 1 card, and it's just unfortunate both of these players are playing Amethyst, and it wasn't a Ruby character or a Ruby card or an Amber card, so Adrian wasn't able to draw 2 cards, but he will at least draw 1 card off of Colors of the Wind.
Exactly. So we see a Horseman Strikes there, pesky pumpkin as I like to call it, going into the Inkwell for an Elsa 5th Spirit. What are we going to exert?
It has to be Lumiere, yes.
It does. I do not blame him. That Lumiere, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think can be really underestimated. It seems like such a small buff, but actually it's so strong. Being able to give all of your other characters +1 strength goes a long way.
Yeah, 100%, Jen. I agree with you. And now just a Sisu and a Diablo left on the board for Hugo. But of course, he's already on 10 lore. Adrian really needs to start catching up in the lore game.
He really does. Yeah, 10 lore to 0 currently. And quite different looking boards, you know. We've got only the 2 characters for Hugo left. We've got 4 characters for Adrian. So not currently looking that great for Hugo, of course. He is on more lore, but the board states are quite different here. I mean, if you're Hugo in this situation, what are you hoping to get?
Well, we're going to ink a card. It's very interesting that we're choosing to ink the Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook here, and then we do have the ability to pay 5. Perhaps it could be a Headless Horseman, because ideally a Headless Horseman here would be really nice because it means we could possibly get rid of this Elsa, and then also in return all of our other characters are going to have an extra strength, meaning the Diablo could get rid of the Ursula Vanessa if we really wanted to, or the Sisu could get rid of the Tigger or the Ursula if we really wanted to. But I don't know. What is it going to be? Or maybe it might be an Elsa 5th Spirit of his own. That's exactly what it is.
You said it and it happened. I really love when that happens.
It's like I summoned that Glimmer to the board.
I know, you did. You were like, Elsa, come out to play. So there she is, exerting a character. And now we're going to figure out what's he going to get rid of. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how many cards Adrian has in hand currently. So I'm not sure exactly how strong Sisu currently is, but getting rid of that Ursula, so clearly more than 4.
Well, clearly at least 3 or more, because the Sisu does already have 1 strength, and it does seem like we have exactly 3, meaning the Sisu was able to challenge it, and we are going to quest with our Diablo Wrathful Raven. Hugo already on a 12 lore lead.
Yes, not looking great for Adrian here. Board has been halved and still on 0 lore.
Yeah, but not to mention there is another Elsa 5th Spirit in hand, could be used to deal with Hugo's Elsa 5th Spirit. We're having a little bit of an Elsa battle off right now, quite possibly.
We are. There's 3 Elsas on board at the moment. But I wonder as well, there is damage as well. There are damage counters on the board, so I wonder if Adrian is playing Cheshire Cats. You know, if he got a Cheshire Cat right now, he could move that damage around, try and deal with Hugo's board. But he's put 2 damage from that Elsa into the Sisu. Really want to try and... no, sorry.
Yeah, the Elsa.
Yes, sorry. But playing another Elsa 5th Spirit here, we're going to...
challenge with
our
other
Elsa. Oh my gosh, there's too many Elsas going on.
I think we challenged with our other Elsa and our Elsa 5th Spirit. I would absolutely love to see an Ohana Means family. I have no idea if Adrian is playing it, but it would mean he could heal the 4 damage off one of he could heal the 4 damage off one of the Elsa 5th Spirits and draw up to 4 cards then in return. Well, I have no idea if he's playing it, but it is a new card and I've been really loving experimenting with it. But of course, here is that pesky Cheshire Cat who is going to be able to move some damage, and it's going to be the 1 damage moved off the Sisu onto the Elsa that had the 4 damage to be able to banish it.
Indeed. We've still got some damage there as well on the Elsa on Adrian's board. So Cheshire Cat. Oh my gosh, is that a Monstro?
Here is the deck that Spessie's been waiting for. It is the
Oh
Monstro
my
combo
gosh.
kind of build.
It's a Monstro.
Are we going to
in
be able
hand.
to see a Monstro come out? But of course, I don't think we have enough ink yet. So we are going to play a Genie Wish Fulfilled. We're going to ink the Finders Keepers, and hopefully
A beautiful enchanted one.
And hopefully next turn, we're going to be able to draw an inkable card, perhaps ink it, and then maybe, I can't really tell because there's black sleeves and they're all on top of each other. But I believe we're on 7, and Monstro costs 8.
Yes,
So
he
we
is
need,
at 8.
So Adrian needs to be able to draw an inkable card. We need Hugo to quest and exert all of his characters, because ideally Hugo's on 14 here. We can quest up to 19, which is pretty huge. A Monstro here would really save him, meaning he only, well, actually, would it really save him? Because
I
then
don't
there's
know
a
if it
Genie
would.
Wish Fulfilled still on the board.
You have to-
Monstro could clear, but Genie's still on the board. The Diablo's not exerted. I don't know if it's going to be enough for Adrian.
Yeah, I don't know either. You would need to have like a Horseman Strikes or something as well. But then, oh my goodness, wow, yeah. I think it's a really, really, really tough spot for Adrian here.
Yeah, but then, of course, if you have a Horseman Strikes, you don't have enough ink
Yeah,
to play that. Both
exactly.
the Horseman Strikes and the Monstro. But we are going to see a quest with the Sisu and a quest with the Cheshire Cat. We're not going to quest with the Genie Wish Fulfilled, meaning Hugo is only on 17, recognizing if Adrian can deal with the Sisu and the Cheshire Cat, it still leaves the Genie Wish Fulfilled and the Diablo. So we can still quest up to 20, and ultimately Hugo still has game on board.
Yes, but we see the Monstro coming down there with, whoa, there's the fist bump. There it is. Adrian, unfortunately, not much he could do there in that situation. The Monstro was useful, but it wasn't enough. So the game goes to Hugo, our Ruby Amethyst player. Wow. Absolutely wonderful there. That was really well played, both players, but of course, congratulations to Hugo there. I mean, what a fun matchup.
What a fun matchup, and like, Spessy really wanted to see Monstro, so I
Yeah.
hope he got to see a little bit of the Monstro deck there in action. But of course, not your typical Amber Amethyst build that we've seen over the weekend. There was no Lanterns, there was no Grandmother Willows, but they did have the Underdog Angel. And of course, I believe they might have been playing a Kutamuti, so maybe if we saw one of the characters sing a Kutamuti, we could have gotten out the Monstro a little bit earlier to be able to deal with the board. But honestly, Ruby Amethyst still in control of the board majority of the time, showcasing how strong Ruby Amethyst can be. It's not all gone. I'm sure Baker's over in the corner screaming like he's really happy. Ruby Amethyst is doing well. We've gotten to show a lot of Ruby Amethyst this week, and of course,
I know.
what a great 2 matchups.
Yeah, really, truly. Like, it's really awesome. What a great round 4 here at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Ghent, Belgium. So we will soon be going into our round 5, and I'm really, really keen to see what we're going to have on the feature table for you. I do believe we have a player interview that we are going to go over to from the matchup 1 that we had before. We're going to go and talk to our winner over in the lounge. Take it away.
Well, we are here in Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent, and I'm sitting here with Ed Chu.
Hello,
you
hello.
might recognize this face from not only world second place, but also our North American champion from season 1.
Yeah.
And we just saw an incredible match, Ed. Your deck is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it's really fun. I added some new tech to the deck, the Distract. I think a lot of people forgot about that card. I think it was a reprint from like set 3 or something like that. And I think I wanted to play it because it's similar to like how Green Yellow is playing the Della's Lullaby
yes.
to do the Under the Sea
Under the
thing.
Sea.
So I thought that right now it's the Under the Sea meta. Like whoever can play that card the best is going to win. So I was thinking about how to add that element to the Green-Blue deck.
Hello, Lumineers. We are here in Disney Lorcana Challenge Ghent, and I'm sitting here with Ed Chu.
Hello,
you
hello.
might recognize this face from not only world second place, but also our North American champion from season 1.
Yeah.
And we just saw an incredible match, Ed. Your deck is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, it's really fun. I added some new tech to the deck, the Distract. I think a lot of people forgot about that card. I think it was a reprint from like set 3 or something like that. And I think I wanted to play it because it's similar to like how Green Yellow is playing the Della's Lullaby to do the Under the Sea thing. So I thought that right now it's the Under the Sea meta. Like whoever can play that card the best is going to win. So I was thinking about how to add that element to the green-blue deck, and I thought that the Distract would be a good addition. In that particular match, I didn't get to do the combo completely, but it at least lets you cycle a card, so I think it's at least worth that addition.
Yeah, you did do a lot of fun things, though, in that match. But let's go back to game 1, because that obviously went to the Amethyst Steel player, missing turn 2 ramp. At that point in the game, did you feel like you were sunk? Like, how critical is that turn 2 ramp for your deck?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple avenues. If you do miss ramp, you basically need to go for the Prince Phillip combo, and I also didn't have that, so at that point, yeah, you're probably going to lose the game. My opponent was playing a very aggressive version of the Amethyst Steel. Like, he curved, like, you know, the Christopher Robin to Pocahontas Genie. I think that type of deck is extremely hard to deal with. It gets to really high, like, lore totals before you get to stabilize. Yeah. So that game, yeah, it was just like, you know, just clear your head and just, you know, go to the next one.
Yeah, and I actually heard you on a podcast recently talking about that this is the Under the Sea meta. So, but not only do you have Under the Sea, you also have the Prince Phillip Malicious Mean Scary combo, and you have the Ink Geyser. Those are 3 really big plays in the game. We did see Ink Geyser come into play in that game 3. Do you think that kind of helped you clinch the win there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He was at really low lore total. I think it was like 7 or something. And I was able to play John Silver and Ink Geyser in the same turn. If you get to do that, you basically win the game. I think that's the difference between Ink Geyser and something like Bend to My Will. I guess if you go Bend to My Will, your opponent can still play like Genie into Dock, chain a bunch of like card draw together, and still kind of pull out the victory sometimes. But if you suffocate them on the Ink, then they actually can't come back. So I really been liking that card. It's mostly for the Sapphire matchups. But if you're in a really dominating position against, honestly, any deck, control the board, you can play Ink Geyser, you usually can, you know, scoop the win for that. Yeah, well, congratulations on your win here. It's really exciting to see your deck in play. Before I let you go, anyone you want to thank? Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend, Emily. I guess she's sleeping right now. I realized, like, with the jet lag, it's by the time that I go to sleep, usually it's when this tournament starts. It's true. So, yeah, shout out to all the people that, you know, come from America and, you know, are grinding it out. So, yeah. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me, Ed. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. And thank you, Illumineers. And we will have more Disney Lurkana for you shortly. See you. Bye-bye.
What a strong player, Ed Chu there, who we saw win our first feature match there. Absolutely smashed it. Smashing it. He's going to keep smashing it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Someone who gets second at Worlds is probably going to do well. So excited to see how he does this weekend. But I think, you know, we saw some decks there that we have chosen for the win, and some of our fellow casters have chosen for the win in that round. But one that we didn't see is Sapphire Amethyst. So I think we can go and have a little look at a typical Blurple as it's known within the community. Let's go and have a look at a little Blurple deck list, I think. Hello, Lumineers. We are here at the Disney Lurkana Challenge Ghent, and we are getting ready to take a look at a deck that everyone loves, or maybe loves to loathe. Baker is joining me here in the lounge for a closer look at the Amethyst Sapphire deck, otherwise known as Blurple. What do you think of this deck in Winter Spell, Baker?
Yeah, I mean, Winter Spell did introduce a couple of new toys. It's a very exciting set. Lots of fun cards in there for both theme decks and for the competitive metagame. And yeah, this Blurple list looking kind of similar to how it did in Whispers in the Well and Fable, but we do have a couple of new toys. But yeah, this is a deck that I think most players have pretty high on their list of top contenders to perform very well this weekend. We're consistently seeing it making top cut at both DLCs and third-party events. And it's just the power level of this deck, Rebecca, is incredible. One card I want to highlight straight away and get your thoughts on. A reprint from the first chapter. As if this deck did not have enough removal, we now have the 5-cost Inkable, Let It Go, where you just put a character straight into that player's Inkwell. And it's a song at that. What do you think of the return of Let It Go?
Yeah, you can sing it, you could play it, and there are plenty of characters in this deck who could sing it. And Let It Go coming back, to me, has just made this deck even more consistent than it was before, which is one of the reasons why players love to play it, right? Is that consistency. I love Let It Go. I am glad that it's back, I will be honest, but I'm not so glad that Blurple got this tool back in its toolbox, because it is really, like you said, the power level of this deck is just insane. We saw Demona joining the crew last set, and she's still seeing lots of play along with that Cheshire Cat Inexplicable. So there's just some really fantastic cards in this deck. But I want to hear you, Baker, talk about our new bouncing friend. Tigger is the one brand new card that we are seeing in this deck.
Yeah, Tigger bouncing all the way. Big fan of Winnie the Pooh. Anytime they print one of those cards, I'm going to be excited. But this one is actually very relevant to our metagame at the moment. This is a 4-cost Ingable character, and on play, you can return a character of cost 2 or less to that player's hand. We've had a couple of cards that have done similar things like this. In Ruby Amethyst, I'm a big fan of the Madame Medusa, where you can bounce a 2-cost or less, but you have to do chip damage. But Tigger doesn't need that.
No,
he will
he's just bouncing. He's bouncing all day.
Yes. But one very important interaction, and why I think we'll see this card in a fair few Blurple decks over the weekend, is that it's very good into Amber Emerald Dogs, which is a little bit of the boogeyman of the weekend and most weekends.
I think so.
Dogs is, again, looking very well situated to be incredible. Had a power increase of its own. We'll talk about that later. But the point is, Dogs is very, very good. And this Tigger is a nice way of being able to just mess their tempo up a little bit. If you can bounce back that new Grandmother Willow, the Ancient Advisor.
Oh, yes.
That card in particular enables a turn 3 tramp from Dog. So that's one very important interaction if you can get rid of that quickly. And of course, any decks that are low to the ground, bouncing a